Okay. What is up, everybody? We live. Hope everybody is doing good tonight. Doing pretty good here myself. Get this posted real quick. Okay. And we're ready. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So, tonight, as you can sort of see if you're checking out the thumbnail, we will be working on the ceiling. It's kind of planned, yeah. Of the ceiling of the armory, sorry. Be more specific. And then, yeah, we'll see what happens. I've also been messing with some other things, so we might just have some fun. Been a long day, so we're just trying to, like, chill build. Nothing too crazy. I'm slowly figuring out how I want to detail out some of this more... Whoa, words. What's up, Goose? Long time no see. How's it going? Slowly figuring out how we're going to detail out this front area as well. Also, had some fun with the new... This is not totally perfect yet, but I've been making a bounce elevator just to see. They're not as efficient as grounded, of course, but kind of cool. I think I can make it a lot more efficient. This is just kind of the first iteration. I think I'm going to have one like up over there at some point, I think, to get from the bottom. I think there's going to be some type of path that goes up because there's already sort of a natural hill. So we'll have to see. Going rough right now, you? Life's good, but extremely busy. So, I mean, I know the feeling of rough. I have a 2-year-old that doesn't currently sleep all that well. So that makes life difficult. But other than that, doing good. It's hard to complain too much. Other than the fact that, I mean, the world's in complete chaos right now. That part's fun. But hope you're doing all right. I'm always tough to hear someone not doing a little rough, so... If I can help at all, let me know. Even if it's just being here to play games, that's what I can do. I'm happy to do that. Or if you want to talk about it, let me know. My wife has always said I'd be a pretty good therapist, but I don't want to go to school for that, you know? It sounds horrible. Like, I'd love to do that to help people, but not like for $100,000 and more schooling. I already did a master's and stuff. Pretty cool. I was thinking about doing that from the bottom of my base so I don't need to do stairs all the time. Yes, exactly, Vince. What's up, Grim? Hope you're doing good too. You're having a good night as well, Vince. Yeah, it's like the very first iteration, but I was like, I tried to make one like a month ago, and that was before they had all the new adjustability stuff in. So it was kind of like a lost cause. It just didn't work. But now that you can rotate everything, you have so much freedom. It's ridiculous. So I'm trying to figure out like the most efficient way to do it, and then I'll make potentially a video on it if people want one. I know those did really well. In Grounded, people really like this stuff. I don't know if people want it as much in this game. So if people want to see it, I might find a way to make it slightly more efficient. But it's been pretty fun. Might talk about it, I don't know. No worries, Goose. No pressure at all. But as a first iteration, it works pretty well. It's definitely difficult to make. Like, once you get the hang of it, it's not bad. But it's also a pain. So I think I gotta find a more efficient way to do it. We'll see. Good news, PC's completely paid for. Bad news, the outfit I got it all through is super busy and won't be dispatched for 8 days. Oh, other than that, I'm chill, man. All good and keen to watch more Enshrouded whilst frothing at the mouth to play. Hey, there's nothing better than, like, wanting to play a game really bad and just waiting, because it just makes it that much more fun. when you like finally get to play it. Memes will hopefully be coming soon. Good, good. Whatever makes you happy, Goose. And then I was also trying to help someone do the railings, and I was like, yeah, they work great. What are you talking about? And then he's like, they just don't work. And I was like, oh, it's because the wood ones are really bad. I don't know what they did. They really messed up the wood ones. They're not good. Like, kind of funky. I'm not sure how they made these and went like, that's the one. Like, that's set up pretty much the same. I don't know why they're not like exactly the same. And then like, I don't know why they have this lower banister either. That's kind of weird. It's almost been a blessing. I've learned a lot from just watching. It is nice like knowing enough about a game and getting a head start, because the start of this game is slow, very slow. It also depends on like if you're going full survival, if you're gonna go like crazy. I could use the high jump ones actually to be way more efficient. I didn't think about that. Yeah, it took me a long time to get into the game. I wish I would have known. There was just no one playing. It was so new when I started. It was like, I'm lost. There was no guides. There was no help. It was a mess. It's always fun like learning and experiencing things like that, but at the same time, it's like, it's also nice just knowing. Alright, they need to fix the stinking hot deposit. Or not hot deposit, the pull from inventory stuff. It's driving me nuts. I should end up with a bunch of garbage in my inventory every time. I have 1/4 of my bottom dug out for the main forage area left, and I'm going to try stringing together hundreds of chains to build a chain and crucible delivery to my custom built massive crucible. Interesting. I want to see whatever that is. That sounds cool. I've been like, there's so many cool things people are doing right now with this like ridiculous system that they've got going with all the custom rotations and stuff. It's like, it's nuts. Look how light it is in here now. This isn't even close to what it'll be, but I think I'll go the same way I did with Grounded. Go full survival, start small builds, and work my way up. That's not a bad way to do it. Starting big is kind of tough. It's a little overwhelming unless you have like a really good plan. So I got all the armor on the armor stands, every single piece, except for the what are they called? Words today are tough. The cosmetic outfits and stuff. I only did like the actual armor pieces. What is that doing? Give me that. Give me that. Give it. Give it. Give me that candle. I don't want it anymore. It's too bright in here. Dang you. What? Can't I remove that? Huh? What's happening? Seems weird. Okay, well, I'll figure that out some other time, I guess. I like the hooded robe. Can that be cosmetic regardless of gear equipped? Make my character look like an assassin? Yeah, the cosmetics are just what you place. Like, I think you have to have them in your inventory, but you can wear a specific armor set and then make it look like whatever you want. Or whatever the cosmetic sets are, of course. But like that. So I would be wearing this, but I haven't really messed with it, so I'm not 100% sure how to set it all up. I just like the look of this armor, so I've kind of stuck with it. What's up? Just Joe? J-O? Joe? Joe the Wizard? Made it out of single blocks so you can't multi-delete. Like, I made the vast majority of these with this block, so I'm like, what is happening? That's what I don't understand. It should be made with one. All the rest are. Or just these ones have decided? I don't know. All of these were made with full blocks, so I don't know. Nobody knows anymore. Yeah, like half of them are doing it. Who knows? Life's crazy. It ended up being almost perfect. So I laid it out, did all of the wizard ones first, and I was like, actually, this fits the wizards perfect. Naturally, I thought, oh yeah, there'll be the same amount of wizard outfits as rangers and melee. No, it's not correct at all. There's like 3 more melee ones and then nowhere near as many ranger ones. So we have a few melee ones that go up here, which, I mean, I knew it wasn't going to like lay out perfectly, so I'll live with it. But yeah, I have no clue. Vince is very weird. But it's not like it's the end of the world. I just wanted to get that candle out of the way. And then, like, there's what? These all kind of line up, I think. There's like 4 less ranger outfits, 3 extra melee outfits, and then those are the main ones. I think I'm going to change this to be 3 windows, so we'll probably do that tonight as well. Just because it fits the aesthetic better. I don't think there's any reason for 4 of them. Seems kind of random, unless they add some new one, but it just sounds like they're adding new armors and stuff, so I would guess that we're not getting anything crazy. But who knows? Get some of this crap out of my inventory. What? Why? Why? Keep that, whatever. Also a key, never hold 5,000 of a block in the current setup. It is, just makes it really annoying, is what I'm learning. If you hold anything under, then at least your stacks will, like, go together again when you're pulling from your magic chests. Other than that, it just makes it a pain. That's a suggestion. Learning the hard way. You just end up with hundreds of extra ones that are pulled from your magic chests and are in your inventory. This was a struggle. I'm not sure how the armor sets work, but they're kind of annoying. Like, that's how I have to take them off, I believe. Like, I can't just, like, throw them in my inventory unless I'm just an absolute buffoon. It's not a bad set, but I like the one I got. It works with my build better anyways, so whatever. I'd like this one, but, like, it's just not as good. I like my lifesteal build, so gonna stick with it all. That's essentially how I equipped all of the stupid armor pieces. I, like, took off my armor and then went up to it, equipped his armor, and then it swaps it, and it was a pain. But yes, in terms of things that are actually difficult in life, it's probably not the worst one. First world problems, I guess. Alright, let's get this. I didn't really think about that being kind of weird. Let's see. Sure. That'll work. Get in there. Oh, well, it helps when you build them correctly. It's a rough life, you know? It's a rough life. I'm learning a lot recently. Just random little efficiency things and how I like building stuff, so that's been nice, but... Okay, so... This is where it gets a little weird. Because I didn't really build the bottom to work in this same way. Definitely has to be smaller than that. Those feel huge. So we could do like a step feature almost, I think. Yep. Something like this. And maybe one more. Maybe. Yeah. Trial and error is my my friend here. What I'm learning in this game. Then we definitely need the top to step down to. And then with a little shaping, that could be good. See how the mannequin fits as well. That's probably important. What shenanigans are happening tonight? We're redoing this. So, because I had 4 and I was like, well, there's only 3 like legendary armor looking things. 1 ranger, 1 mage, and 1 melee. And I'm like, it looked weird having 4 of the upper windows and 3 of the dragon head things. So I'm going to switch this to 3. And then we're also going to figure out the ceiling a bit more. Like I had said last stream, I cleared everything out. So this is the maximum amount of space that I have. This floor goes directly up to the upper area. So we can't remove any more. But I want to do something with these light blocks, and I've seen a couple interesting things. I have a couple ideas. I'm just not sure which route I want to go. But if you look up a coffered ceiling, that's sort of the idea. It just depends on how these lights get recessed and stuff. That's going to be the weird part. So it's going to get crazy, I think. We also probably need to remove some of those because I keep getting some FPS drops. There's a lot of lighting in here right now. Oops. Like maybe a bit too much lighting. In Grounded, I would say impossible. You can't have too much lighting until it breaks the game, and then there's too much lighting. Like this. Like that could work. Chandelier. Could be. I haven't really seen... I don't know. I don't know how you do a chandelier in this game. It's not the same as the Grounded that's like has all the cool shapes and stuff. I've seen some really epic ones for like maybe smaller rooms, I guess. It was like... I wish I had a picture I could show of it. It was like 100 chandeliers. Like they placed a chandelier and then used the rim of the first chandelier to place like 5 or 6 more chandeliers. And then around the ring that made, they placed 20 more chandeliers and so on and so forth, like 3 or 4 tiers deep. And it was ridiculous. So, you know, that could be an option. But I don't know yet. Hard to say. But I think it's going to be more like, I don't know why my main monitor screen isn't working. I don't understand why. It just stopped working. Otherwise, I'd show the coffered ceiling that I'm looking at. That's kind of cool. But we'll see. Nobody knows how it'll end up till it ends up. It could be anything, and it could be nothing. Could be everything. I'll, of course, have to come up with my own. Yes. Well, you got to start playing the game again. He says with a smug attitude. I need someone to bounce ideas off, dude. What are you doing to me? Why is... So we went too deep there? Is that what happened? Yeah. I know, yeah. Do you, though? Do you, though? Leaving me hanging over here, man. Everyone needs a build buddy, alright? It's unsafe if you don't. Maybe that stays, I don't know. I'll have to figure out the behind-the-scenes stuff here afterwards. I'll get there? Yeah. We'll see. How's that look? That the same? Yes. Another platform. Little block. And that. One of these. Oops. And then another one. There. Two. Counting hard. What? Wait a second. What's not right? This one's bigger? Is that what's happening here? This one's bigger. Is this like one block wider? What is happening? Dang it. Definitely one bigger, isn't it? How does that work? Whose math? It's 100%. Why is that one skinnier and these are bigger? Is that right? Or am I crazy? Heck, I just like rose. Okay, that is one block wide. This is one block wide. Because I'm lost. What am I doing? That's the new architectural math, dude. The biggest problem with architecture is you just had to be like good-ish at math. You had to be like good-ish at science. You didn't ever have to be actually good at any of them to be good at architecture. So it really screwed me up. Why is this not the same? What is happening? Does this need to just be one over? Let me guess this is one. Okay. So the issue is this all wants to be like this. And then maybe correct. Get in there. Aha! I told you I was a genius. Oops. Not really. Okay. We did it right. It does kind of bug me, though. Is it fine that that doesn't line up? Is it going to drive me insane? I don't know. Rough life. It's really rough life, man. The struggles of not planning this stuff and just kind of building as I go. Just remember that for the other side. Yeah, right? You're supposed to let me forget for the memes, Lude. Jeez. Issues, I don't know if I like that, though. But, like, how else do I do it? Make the other ones bigger? I don't like that either. Why does my math seem so hard? I guess it's because technically, like, what would it be like? There would be like a detail like this, I guess. Maybe doing something. Oops. Something more. That doesn't work very well. I'm very quickly learning, like, one of my biggest tips for, like, massive detailing is you have to use, like, thick with a capital T, real thick walls anywhere and everywhere if you want to add a lot of detail. Or else you end up with issues like that. Actually, we could do this. Oh no. Thick with two C's. Ain't that the truth? Technically, we could do this. Get over here. Get in your hole. Dang it. Oops. Down, down, down. So we put it there. And that way, now we can mess with this corner. A little bit easier, at least. And that piece won't clip through weirdly. Except... who knows? Trial and error, baby. Ooh, jeez. Yeah. That looks dumb, too. Okay, okay. Plan two. That railing is sticking through your pillar. Yeah, on the back side, you can't. Who's gonna see that? Who's gonna see that? Who's walking like this and goes, wait a second. Let me get in my first person mode. Alright, that's life. Alright? Stop making my life more difficult, Luderav. Alright? It's like, that didn't really fix the issue that I was, like, struggling with, though, is the problem I'm having here. Yeah, well, you're not allowed in my world, then. Okay? You just stay out of it. Nobody wants you nitpicking them, making them cry. Could do, like, a metal block as well. I've been liking that little detail I've been messing with. Really like these. Is it iron? Yeah, iron block. They look pretty cool. What are you trying to snap to? Not what I'm trying to get you to do. I'll see it. I just won't say anything. Nothing? That's fine. That's fine. You could say something if it's like, bro, your block is off by 1. Totally fine. I'm trying to break the game here, okay? You know, honestly, the smart thing to do here is just to... you ruin everything. Make me change my everything I do. Come over here. Pick this stupid thing up. Get this over here. No, you son of a gun. Come on, get in there. Wait, yeah, this'll work. All right, you happy? Are you happy? same height. Yeah, yes. I won't. Every time I see that, I'm now going to look at it and go like, you son of a bitch, looter. Son of a... All that time. You know how much time we just wasted? You act like I'm doing this purely to just do stupid things like that. Isn't the entire reason I do this. Sure. This too. Some fun little things, maybe. Oh, wrong block. Time learning is never wasted. You're not wrong. Doesn't mean I'm happy about it. Who knows? Put some cool little things in there. I don't know, some lights or some of those iron blocks. Give me that. And that. That. I don't know how I feel about that metal corner yet, but we might be able to make something interesting out of it. I don't know. Hey, yeah. Boom. Alright, how are we looking? Dang it. I could live with that. Growth corner. That could do it too. I'm struggling to figure out if I want... So I found in one of the dungeons in the game, I'm looking at some pictures in other extra screen, there was like obsidian block creating like a void. And then inside of it, so it's like the ceiling. So if you thought of this as maybe like an empty space or like you built out and then they placed some windows and then behind it was luminous growth. So, like, the ceiling is luminous growth. It's a really cool little dungeon they have. Really simple, just, like, random one I ran into the other day. And it looked really cool. I don't think it makes sense. Like, I'm thinking of having the luminous growth coming in here, but I don't know if I necessarily want it to, like, consume everything in here. I just want it to be, like, a minor detail. Because most of it's, the whole idea was that it's consuming the flame altar is the more important story that I want to tell, which is like, I don't know, right here or something like that. So I think that's the more important story I want to tell. I think with the like effect that I currently have in here, it's a little too clean to go like full luminescent growth, which is why I'm kind of messing with this whole thing. I haven't used these blocks, and they light things up really interestingly as well. It adds just like a really nice white light effect that I like. Whereas the luminous growth is like, it's going to contrast a lot. If they had the red, what is it? The red shroud liquid stuff that's down here, I would potentially change and make this the red growth and then the ceiling the red growth. That'd be kind of cool. That stuff. But until they add something like that, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it yet. It's a tough decision. Like, continuing the story and making it a, like, cohesive is kind of the idea, is what I'm trying to keep intact. I don't want to get, like, too crazy with just an idea and like oversaturate luminous growth everywhere, even though it's a cool effect. I want it to be like sparse so it gets the idea. So I'm gonna throw an idea. Yeah, don't hate me for this. I never hate ideas. I just hate if I have to redo everything. Because it's an idea I should have thought of in the first place. But fire away. Fire away, fire away. I'm bulletproof. Nothing to lose. Okay. I don't like how long it's taking you to type this out. It never means anything good for me. Anytime Ludarep has an idea, it just means that I'm screwed. And I'm going to have to redo a bunch of stuff to do something even better. Which is great. It's not a bad thing, but like... You gotta make my life so difficult. At least I know that these are going to be here no matter what, so... On the ceiling where the white light block is, the luminous growth is in strands like downstairs, but is behind windows since you can spin the windows. Ceiling where the white light block is, the luminous growth is in strands like downstairs, but is behind windows. I mean, that's kind of what I think I was trying to describe earlier, in theory. I think. Dude, why do they not tell you? I hate this system. So annoying. It drives me a bit insane. Putting these armor pieces on. So unless you just know which ones are which, it's not very fun. But I think that's kind of what I was saying. I'm not sure I'm totally understanding the idea, but what I was saying in this dungeon that I found is that it'd be like person. You'd have something like this, something like this. Think of that as luminous growth. And then they would then... which is blue. Why is this so far away? Hello? Thank you. And then they essentially, I think they had different windows, but they did this. And then what's green? Those are essentially exactly the same, aren't they? All right, well, wait, are they? No, they are slightly different on the other side. Well, then we were on the same page, but since you can't take any away from your ceiling, you would have to add another layer or two so it looks actually between the ceiling. Yeah, I mean, I can remove the luminescent, or not the, I can remove the white luminescent block. But, oops. This block here is the highest I can possibly go at this moment in time without breaking into the rest of my build. But I'm kind of thinking of something along these lines. Just because that's not even close to lined up. It doesn't really matter. This isn't how it's going to be. But this is kind of what I'm thinking right now. So like luminescent blocks. What The picture I'm looking at, though, from the dungeon I found was like this exact detail, different window. A different window block that they used, it looks like. But you'd essentially think of the luminescent growth as the white block. Very similar concept. I just don't think the blue... I feel like this room is so orange that the blue would look like it had maybe too much contrast, is the way I'm thinking of it at the moment. But I really like something like this as it diffuses the lights. It's the way... Yeah, we're definitely on the same page. Okay, cool. I think I like your idea. I was toying around with doing it with the luminescent growth. I think I'm going to use that in another place that is more fitting for it. I'm going to make a like alchemist collector sort of space in one of these side areas. So my current idea is that this is going to come down. Honestly, if you look, I'm mirroring like one of these strongholds. It might be this one. I think the lance point, if you go here, I'm essentially mirroring that base, but with my own design because they use way cooler props and builds. But this is sort of the rough shape of that, and then I've kind of turned it into my own thing. So it's got like a central forge, much more simplistic than this. They just get the really cool big chains that we don't have. And then there's sort of corridors on both sides, and then it goes into these side areas. And so they'll drop down. There'll be more lava covered with these great things, I think is the plan. And then there'll be stairs that go up in different directions and sort of like tunnel out in different ways, depending on kind of how I make this all work in my head. And so each sort of regular NPC is going to get a kind of random space in here. Is currently the idea. I might make it more... Eventually, I want to make each NPC a house too, so I don't really know. Like, it might be really repetitive, honestly. Like, I might have one of each NPC in these areas just because they're more useful in my actual crafting base with all of their items. And then, I guess, sort of the thought is that, like, the blacksmith as this. I think this lady is exactly the same, essentially. She was, I don't know, something like that. A lot of them have similar item pieces. Maybe someone else. But I guess maybe these people will get houses out there based off of like what they sell or give you. But I'm not totally sure yet. It just kind of depends on how it all works out. Yeah, like this guy is essentially the farmer, so I think that's kind of how it's going to be, is these people will get a place inside my base because they're the real NPCs, and then all the extra ones that sort of do the same thing will have a house outside of it. That seems like the most functional way to do it, I guess. And then just kind of make houses based off of like a blacksmith and a whatever. And then one of the areas, the alchemist and collector are going to kind of have a lab, I guess, is the best way to describe what I'm thinking. And I've seen some people do like cool little showcases. Like if you think of like in the Alien movies or whatever, there's like a specimen in a glass tube, but on a large scale, like they have a massive alien or whatever in this big glass tube with a liquid inside. And so I'm thinking of making some effects like that, where the alchemist and collector are maybe like researching how to fix the shroud like that's consuming the space, is kind of like a continuation of the story. So like this happened, and so now they're like studying it. They take samples of it, and that'll be like one of the rooms. And so it might have like a central sort of, it won't be a cylinder, but some square sort of thing. It could even be like, now that you can do any angle, that could be really cool. So it could even be like, if I find the right angles, could be something really cool to do, like sort of hexagon or something, if I can figure it out. Be an absolute nightmare, but do something with one of the windows. I don't necessarily know which one yet. This is going to be the hard part. Something. Well, those aren't lined up, but yeah, you get the point. It's going to be a lot of work getting this set up correctly, but... And then sort of a cylinder that goes up, and they have, like, testing. Yeah, my mad science lab. And so there'll be some type of luminous growth contained within this thing, and they'll be testing it. And that's where I'm thinking that, like, ceiling detail might be kind of interesting. Like, maybe it had some weird strand or something. I don't necessarily know how to explain it perfectly yet, because I haven't put in a whole lot of thought into it. But I saw a couple people doing some cool, like, luminous growth and using the cool lighting effects from the blue luminous blocks. These ones with it. So, might try messing with something like that. See how it goes. Want to, like, continue the story that I have going as much as possible, I think. It escaped out of the test tube. That could be part of it. I mean, the test tube is a secondary thing. It escaped... I guess that, yeah, they could be, that's what you're saying, is maybe they were testing it, and then it escaped and leaked into the ceiling or something. And so it, like, maybe it reuses this exact effect, however I make this work in this room, and it's repeated there. That could be really cool. You could have, like, one little piece coming out, like, of a window, and then it just, like, consumed the roof. I love that idea. I've been, watching a decent amount of, like, Jurassic Park and stuff recently. And love the idea of, like, people trying to fix a problem and, like, majorly screwing everything up because of it. So, it's very fitting. I watched Jurassic Park, the first 3, and then all the Jurassic World movies. Because my son is, like, absolutely obsessed with dinosaurs right now, so I was like, honestly, it sounds kind of fun, like, to get in his headspace where he's, like, enjoying himself right now. Is just, like, dinosaurs everywhere. And I had a grand old time rewatching all of them while editing that channel trailer and stuff. Yes. We have to fix this side too, Luderav. Gosh. All this extra work. Oh no. Okay. Good times. Well, that was about the least efficient way to do that. Alright. You're gonna just do it. Well, thank you for that, making my life easier. Let's see, this wants to go up. Well, they all go up that high, actually. Probably better to copy it. I started the Lord of the Rings audiobooks again, since you've listened to them. I'm on Return of the King? When did you start listening to them? It took me weeks to get to the end of those. Like, so freaking long. Actually, that's kind of cool. Hold up. Wait a minute. That could be a cool way to inlay some detail. About a week ago? Holy cow, dude. That's so incredibly fast. They are long. Maybe I don't like that. I, for some reason, didn't listen to The Hobbit. I bought it and didn't listen to it first, so I'm listening to The Hobbit right now. Funny enough. Hey, what is up, Judy Toy? Hope I said that right. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Hope everyone's having a good night. We are currently doing a bit of mega building in Enshrouded. Messing with some stuff. Having a grand old time. Hope you had a good stream. Thanks for sending some people my way. Okay. Kind of interesting. I don't know. We could find some interesting way to do it. It was? Thanks. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Also think like some more lighting effects in these maybe, or some cool blocks would be interesting. I have Andy Serkis version, who is the voice actor for Gollum in the movies. Yeah. Wait, is there one? Is that the what the? How did that place like 3 blocks? What the heck? Is that just the Hobbit, or is that the trilogy with him? For some reason, I thought he did the Hobbit, but I didn't get that one, so now I'm confused at why I wouldn't do that, because I like him as an actor. He was very fun to listen to. The whole series? Why didn't I get that one? What the heck? I have the random one I started with, the like fully casted one that I haven't listened to that you recommended, and there's an Andy Serkis one. I'm like, what? I'm gonna have to get. I guess that's the nice thing about having an Audible subscription, is that like I have an unlimited. I can buy as many books as I want, not have to worry about it. Not feel bad about it. I did the same thing with Harry Potter. I bought all of them. 3 or 4 versions. Holy cow. I say that like I don't have 2 versions of Harry Potter as well, so it's kind of very nice. It's nice to have like an ability to like switch it up. They are like totally different between them too, so it almost feels like a different series. Ugh. I'm hating myself a lot right now for doing this proud of these for some reason. I can't figure out why I didn't just sync them in originally, but I don't want to go and change everything now. So it makes for some weird details. Popped a Crucible chain example into Discord. Need to do it right in my proper base. Ooh, I want to see that. It loads. Oh, that's what you're saying. That's really interesting, actually. Yeah, I'm hoping the chains specifically are something I would really like more of. I think they look really, really cool, and there is not enough options at the moment. Because I've used a little bit of them, but because there's massive ones in a couple of the random buildings in the Albaneve Heights area that I would love. I would absolutely love to have those. But I don't really want to use a mod to get them. Yeah, of course. I assumed so. I assumed they would all line up nicely. Okay. That's all right. Let's see what it looks like from over here, maybe. From over here, maybe. Yeah, that's giving the right effect. I guess it's sort of fine that they like sit back and then the heads sit a little forward. Looks all right. Really wish I'm going to lurk. Have a good stream. Sounds good, Lude. Thanks for hanging out and shooting ideas around. It's always nice to have a little help. We wish we had a way to just start and finish a chain where you wanted instead of having to string them together. We can do vines. Let us do chains. I think that's one thing. I'm absolutely loving the ability to like rotate objects. My issue is that the decor snaps to the same grid currently that the blocks use, and I wish there was a setting that allowed you to snap them to decor items. So like maybe there's a snap to grid and a snap to decor would be really cool, because specifically in some of these instances where I was like trying to make this sort of weird hand railing, these do not snap together in any way, shape, or form. Like this is custom placed every which way, because I, for the life of me, could not recreate it over here. So I started messing with another idea that was just less complicated, because it was driving me insane that they weren't even. And so I would really like the ability to have like different snapping options. I think it would make the new rotation option a lot easier to work with, because you can like, oops, you can snap here if you get it rotated right. Like, why it like snapped a second ago? What the heck? The rotation access you showed in game, it's in game. Yep, that is, they added it in like last 3 weeks ago. Yeah, everything I have built is 100% is like built into the game at this moment. I'm not using any mods in any way. But the 5th update for Enshrouded allows you to now place items like everywhere. So you get all the axis changes. You can go absolutely ridiculous. You want to place something in this weird, janky way, you absolutely can. And then you just switch items to set it back to normal. Like, yeah, this is what drives me nuts, is like, because this isn't quite on the same grid, it now is like impossible to get it lined up with the next one. And then I wish you could, it needs like a flip option would be really nice. So I'd love to be able to get this angle set up and then flip it horizontally or vertically, honestly. Like both options would be useful. That way you could sort of easily match this angle. Because currently it's like, because there's no reference point, I don't really find it intuitive to get blocks placed like this. It can get a little funky, I think. That's not even on the right grid, is it? Hey, Peach, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Feels right. Getting trippy for some reason. Holy cow, it's so bright in there. Yeah, I haven't finished the ceiling. I started placing the lights just because I wanted to see what it looked like, and then me and Luderav were messing with going through an idea of how I wanted to do this ceiling effect, and that's kind of what I was coming up with, but it won't be that bright eventually. But as of right now, that's what we're dealing with. Oops. I'm really trying to figure out, like, I want to make a video on how to do like slightly easier setups for these kind of blocks, for the rotations of these blocks. At the moment, it does not feel like it's super intuitive. I think for the average player that isn't like an insane mega builder that has a desire to really like screw with this stuff, it can be really hard to do. But that's about the best way you could do it, I guess. It's fine, but it'd be a hell of a lot easier if there was just like snap 45 or snap to like the edge of a decor block would be really useful. Vince is on board. That's kind of the idea I'm hoping for. I have some fun ideas that we will be messing with at some point once we get a little further in these builds. Didn't like place these very well. I was wondering what people were going to say about how bright it is in here. The luminescent blocks, you have to use very sparingly. I'm going to have to go delete a bunch of them too once I figure out the sort of spacing of all of this. because it is way too many at the moment. I placed them, and then I was like, I guess I'm going to cover a lot of this. I probably don't need to be quite this excessive at the moment. I'm also going to need way more hand railings or windows. And I guess the question is, do I like that window, or should we use different windows? That should be something we test as well. Did you get the new yellow stuff? Yes. Yes, I did. Definitely not any of those, I don't think. These are like kind of cool. I don't think they show enough light, though. I don't think the round either. I think I'd stick with the metallic or metal look right here. We got a handful of them. I figured out I was just an idiot. For some reason, I just completely forgot that the blocks are made in the crafting station, and or the crafting bench. So I was like, it wasn't that I forgot that they were made in it, but I forgot that when you unlock the blocks, it just makes them available. And because I had all the items, you need like saffron. Crap, I can't even remember them. It's like saffron and 2 other things. Saffron, glass, and metal or iron, something like that. So I was like just scouring to be like, who unlocks it? Who gives me the quest? What is this? So I was struggling, and then I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. It just auto unlocks, and it's in the crafting table. And just like that, they were there. What's up, Chisel? How's it going, man? Popping by quick after dinner. Yeah, doing good. Thanks for stopping by. I hang out in your stream for the morning while I'm working, and you hang out in my stream for a little while. Love it. We're having fun. I'm messing with my ceiling design a little bit tonight, kind of figuring out how I want to do this lighting effect in the ceiling. But I got to get this grid figured out before I go too crazy. And then we were working through some random details, but it's coming together. We're getting close. Once the ceiling is done, I think outside of adding all the weapon mounts and stuff, the armory will be pretty much finished. So it's coming together. We need to not use luminescent blocks, that's for sure. I don't need a blind oozing anymore. Build a lot of scaffolding. It'll make the whole thing a lot easier to mess with. Be a little ridiculous messing with ceilings. Always love everything Enshrouded. This was looking great. Thank you. It means a lot. Instead of spending hours on a bathroom, I'm spending hours on a ceiling. I was almost going to make this into a video, but now I'm just working on it, so we'll see. Don't worry, I'm already squinting. Oh gosh. It's only gonna, it should get better, I think. I love, like, the 2 styles we both have. Like, I am building on a very large scale, and you're building on a, like, smaller, more intimate scale. But this game allows for just all of it to look absolutely insane. I'm just, like, blown away at how fun this game is so far. The key here is going to be not messing up the counting. That's going to drive me insane, too. I didn't think about that. This is going to be the most important part, is figuring out the correct grid for this so it doesn't look weird. So I'm going to have to start... Could do maybe like this. Yeah, I tend to do that. It was worth it, though. That's like... I end up taking exponentially longer to get to that point, and that's like kind of where it's the most fun, though. I just am doing details on a slightly larger scale, which I think might stem from the fact that I'm used to playing like mega building and grounded and stuff, because this game allows you to build at a way smaller scale compared to anything else. Ouch. But I definitely want to get to that point where I'm like really into the details of it all. Because it just is so good. Come on. Honestly didn't think I was going to get like this addicted to this game, but oof. It's good. And then if we do, I guess I need to use these as smaller scale. I didn't think about that. Actually, let's figure out what this is. Oh, I'm on the roof. I was like, why can't I place any blocks? Okay, 4. Kind of why I go live now with decorating. People enjoy it, but it takes too long to add to videos. Yeah, that's where I'm... The videos, like, that's why I don't do build guides typically, because that's been, like, my biggest thing is, like, in content creation is the vast majority of builders do build guides. And I build on this, like, ridiculously large scale that makes it really hard to do, like, super interesting things for videos, and I build in such a like sporadic random fashion that like I never know how anything's gonna turn out at any given time. It just kind of like happens. So that's why I stream, is it seems to be the best way to allow my brain to just kind of go crazy and do what it wants to do. That's, I don't know, as a designer, that's just like always how my brain has worked. But I haven't found a great way to like translate that to videos yet. I've done a couple here and there, but it ends up just being like my ADHD brain is just can't handle the organization of trying to put a build guide together, because I don't build in like I build in a very organic way, I guess is the best way to describe it. It can be very interesting at times. Okay, this direction is going to be interesting. I don't pre-plan. I have a lot of ideas running in my head, but I never pre-plan anything. I just kind of like do it. And if it works, it works great. And if it doesn't, I just do it again. Change everything. But I really enjoy the live building because I can talk through ideas with people. I can help them through their own like struggles in builds too. So that's been really fun. It's definitely like a unique way to do things that not as many builders tend to do, I guess. But like watching your decorating streams is like such a good way to pass the day for me. I work from home, like in a sales job, so I'm just like, well, I might as well have a stream going on in the background and like mess with some ideas. Listen to some stuff. And then thinks he has to listen to my chaos. Luderav is a problem. Luderav keeps me from being complacent. Is really what happens. Is I'm like, I have a good idea. I'm gonna do it. And then Luderav says, what if you just like multiplied that by 10? And he's always right. I'm just never happy about it. So this should work really well in this direction. Make sure this is 4, right? Yeah. But it's been fun. I've been enjoying like the live streams, and then I tend to stick to more like tips and tricks and base tours after we do the mega building, all of it live. Seems to work pretty well for me. Okay. Yeah. And like now, like especially as we were glad to hear it's enjoyable, definitely love all the ideas that I learned from doing them. Yeah. It's just like without watching people build this stuff, like if I didn't get to see your videos, or if I didn't get to see you building the interior decoration stuff live, I think I'd just kind of just gloss or glaze over the really like small nuanced things, like the little faucet that you were doing today, and like each faucet was different. Like none of them were the same. You did a different faucet for the sinks versus the tub versus like everything has its own little like nuanced detail. And I think without seeing those live and just seeing the details in a random base tour, you lose like the creativity behind them. It's really easy to just kind of like gloss over them and not even really pay attention to like, whoa, that's an incredible little detail that like, or little soap containers for shampoo and conditioner in your shower. Like those things would be glazed over so quickly in a just random tour. Whereas if you see someone build them live, like you get to be part of the process of like helping them figure them out, seeing it all live. Like you really get the idea of like all the options. I don't think most people would really even notice the cool things like that. Or they might just take them for granted as like random little details that maybe they just didn't have the effort to or time to put into. But when you see it live, it's just good. It just makes it like that's something I should be messing with. Well, I need to get into those little tiny details. To say it works both for you and as a fan of your work too, can be engaging and get questions answered, or I can be playing my own game and pause it when stuff is catching my eye. Yeah, I really like that too. I don't know, the interaction with other builders I think keeps everything really like engaging and fun. Because I think a lot of builders fall into the trap of like building in silence by themselves. And I think the struggle with that is like I'm very lucky to have like a design background and working in an architecture firm for many years. And like everything in my background has like taught me like design is a collaborative process. And if you're not doing it live or with other people, you're just like, you're missing out on opportunities that you could otherwise make things better or more interesting. So I like the ability to do that. I used to do it off camera, and then I did it on stream once, and lots of people enjoyed the more behind the scenes rather than cutting ahead in a video, so I kind of just stream ever since. Yeah. Also, you had like, between YouTube and Twitch, you had like 190 people or something watching today. I was like, holy cow. That is... If you could pull that many people on like almost 100 on each platform, like you should definitely be streaming. That is a great way to take advantage of that time of you just kind of doing fun little small details over and over again. That it's helps like build a community. You get people seeing the cool little effects that you're doing. You have a way that isn't just like hours alone by yourself and then just throwing it in a video and it just happens. Like that time becomes productive at the same time. It's a great like glimpse and window into the mega building and just building scene in general for a lot of people to see it live. All right. I'm kind of leaning towards this side. I liked this, but I think this looks more interesting. I think it fits better. Feels more ceiling-esque. I don't know. Yeah, I really enjoy the streaming aspect. Especially because, like, a lot of my early on grounded stuff I just built in silence by myself, like listening to music or whatever, and I was like, this time could be used in, like, a way more productive way. I'd love to have 50, 60 people in here chilling, but, you know, anyone hanging out and enjoying it is a good time. I'm definitely grateful to have an amazing community with these survival games. Seriously. It's like, I came from Grounded, which has like such an amazing community, and then like jumping into Enshrouded. Things are slow and they're getting started, but it feels like a lot of the people so far playing Enshrouded have been really chill and cool too. Been a lot of fun. Can't decide. We need to break this up a little maybe. could give me a route to maybe something like this. That could work. That's a pretty good spacing. So before, I'll be a broken record, the building community is top-notch. Least toxic gamers I've ever come across. It's like, seriously, though. They're just, like, people that want to, like, shoot ideas off of each... I don't know. They're all really fun. They're great people. Like, so far, like, everyone who in the grounded community that built was just, like, freaking awesome. And then, like, it was only the people that were, like, the combat... maniacs that were obsessed with just combat and building and stuff that were the toxic people who frustrated everyone. So I'm very glad that the builders are just like chill, fun, creative people most of the time. Guess we could switch that maybe. We all just want to make cool looking shit. There's no gatekeeping or nonsense. Yeah. It's that like, it's the collaboration, honestly. Like it really comes down to that. It's just, people like shooting ideas off each other and stuff. I don't know. It's like you have a vested interest in each other because you're all just trying to build cool things. That wasn't the right block. We do it 6 and then probably have to move all of those. Actually, I have to pick all these up anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm aligning that to the wrong thing, of course. And picking up the wrong blocks. Like I said in Chisel's chat earlier, I really wish the pickup had an indicator that told you which block you were picking up. Because I always pick up the wrong ones. When I started my channel, I kind of grew it with the videos, and then once I had a larger following around it, they started joining more of my streams, which was cool. It takes time and consistency. Yeah. That's my current struggle is I have a 2-year-old, so I have... zero ability to be like extremely consistent at the moment. I'm consistent with my streams, I guess, at this time for the most part, but the videos take a lot of time, unfortunately. And I'm still like getting decent at editing and all that. But it comes with time. I've only been doing this for like a year and a half, if that. At least the streaming part, we'll see. Survival and building game communities are, and people are the best, yeah. Especially like, I played a lot of Valorant and League for a long time, and oh man, I just got so tired of people being horrific human beings. It just got so tiring. It's like how I was like, I like winning too. I'm a very competitive person, but man, at a certain point, is like cussing someone out in a game like enjoyable anymore? Like, are you enjoying your life at that point? You hate your life so much that you just have to crap on everyone around you all the time. Like, that's got to tell you something about what you're doing isn't working. Got another friend who's got a full-time job and is only able to work in streaming. Do what works for you, and that's what's best. Yeah, for sure. Good fun. We're definitely figuring out. I like the combination of doing a bit of videos, and I mean, I think content creation requires a bit of that, but making it work. Luckily, kids aren't young forever. Dang it. That's in the ceiling now. So at some point, we'll be able to expand upon what we're doing. But yeah, full-time job, 8 to 4, and then watch a kid, and then as soon as I can get him to bed, I start stream. My builds get more detailed as well. It takes me like a month to post a video, so streams are a nice filler to interact with the community. Yeah, I'm definitely... I had excessively... over-the-top expectations of myself in the beginning. Like, I don't know why at any point I was like, a video a week made sense with a full-time job and a child. So I definitely quickly learned, like, streaming every night of every weeknight is also, like, not a sustainable thing. So, like, just figuring out what works and what what's going to work for me long term, so I'm not going to get like absolutely burned out. Because it is very easy to do. You very quickly burn yourself out by overextending yourself. Okay. And I mean, I have a good sense. I was in school for like 7-8 years, so I learned over time that taking the long route doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad route. It's all a learning process. Oh, dang it. Please auto add to my inventory. That's like the worst thing, is getting the angle set up properly and then running out of the block and not noticing it. That one. The hardest thing about the whole like making videos for me is like I just build stuff that, I mean, like you have a really good methodology of like, I'm building a barn, and like each individual build grows into this like massive city or whatever, like your city in the Blackmire or whatever, wherever it is. And so it like, they compile and like add upon each other, whereas like I build large rooms, I guess. So it's kind of a weirder setup. The things I like to build are not like, I almost never build small houses and stuff. I just immediately start building the biggest possible things I can. So it's been very interesting. And I build them so haphazardly too. It just gets my brain's all over the place. Trying to revive an old personal channel as well now, which is tough and eats up a lot of time, but I definitely love the creator thing. It teaches me so much. Yeah, I've enjoyed having like an external thing to keep driving me forward in life, because like my job is not something that I'm going to do for like the rest of my life by any means. It's a good job. I get paid really well, and I work like 36 hours a week as like a full-time salary salesperson. So it works really well, and it has like incredible flexibility with a young child. But in the long run, I definitely won't spend like my whole life there. So it's been really fun having some extra little thing to work on. And I actually did, I don't know if I just subscribed or not, but I checked out your channel. That mountain bike you were working on was sick. I wish I would have like seen that way earlier, so I could have been a little bit of the process. I love mountain biking. The second I saw that, I was like, oh, this is my kind of channel. I live in Bend, Oregon, so mountain biking, skiing, all outdoor stuff is the best. I'm definitely going to watch some of those videos at some point. Large builds are tough, but so cool to see them come together. I'd love to do a fortress build. Yeah. I'd love to see your detailing process like on a huge scale. The houses are awesome because it gives me ideas. That's my biggest struggle, is like small houses, especially because like I have an architectural background. So like big buildings is just natural for me. I never really worked on small projects or anything. So it's been fun seeing like someone else's perspective on that kind of stuff. It's definitely into biking, and I like building stuff, so why not do both? Yeah, I think that's so sick. So sick. If you have the time and availability, like honestly, why not? I definitely like making things as well. It'd be cool to get to some point in the future and be able to expand upon some of the things that I like doing as well. My wife and I, like, similar to like your desk, like we built a walnut like circular table for our dining room, and I'm like, dude, if I wasn't making content then, but I was like, that would have been a great video. Like I could have easily made that into like a cool little series of some kind. Yeah, I sort of like stole the idea from, there's a dungeon. I wish I remembered on the map where it is. I was just running around randomly the other night. Must have been Monday. And And I found this really cool random dungeon somewhere, maybe somewhere around here. I can't remember. Just doing totally random quests. And they had this, almost this exact, I'm like looking at it on my third monitor, a very similar effect to this with like a random little grid of windows, and then they used the luminescent growth behind it, so it had this really cool like glowing blue effect. And I was like, what if I just did that similar but with these like the luminescent white block? Like that would look really cool. And then it gives a little more nice lighting. The torches are fine, but I'm not a huge fan of like just thousands of torches, and it also tanks my performance, it feels like. So I'm hoping this is maybe a slightly more efficient way to do the lighting as well. But I'm also way overusing the white blocks, so that might bite me in the butt at some point too. But it's turning out. I want to see it from below. Make sure I'm not doing anything weird. Yeah, that's going to look really cool. It's like just enough lighting that it's not as overwhelming. It's not blinding oozing over there. But just enough light to give a little bit more lighting to the room. It diffuses it really well as well. I like that a lot. That's going to be fun. This is going to take me ages. We both like... I may not be doing like soap containers and soap holders, but I definitely find a way to do insane little details that are extremely time consuming. So I definitely know your struggle of just endlessly getting stuck in the small little details of things. It's just so fun though. Yeah, it's like it's a little daunting staring at it from here, but from down below, it's going to be a really nice little effect. I think I need to be really careful not using too many of these light blocks, though. Probably going to bite me in the butt. Probably just keep them over. Actually, might be able to remove the floor above and make that. That might be an easier way to do it off stream. I do a little bit of work off stream still, but mostly the super monotonous random stuff. Gonna take me ages. The #1 quote from builders. Seriously though. I'm always like, so I had this good idea, and every time I'm like, I need to stop having so many ideas. As much as I love my ideas, they always come to bite me in the butt. Which becomes so ridiculously time consuming. Especially like I actually went back probably 2-3 weeks ago and did a stream for Grounded because a bunch of people were just asking for a bit more Grounded content. So I was like, you know what? I can go play a little Grounded, even though my game is like on the verge of breaking because I built so much. I was like, it sounds fun to like switch it up. The update wasn't quite out yet for Enshrouded, so I was like, you know, all right, I can be manipulated. I'll do it. And I built an entire like little garden plaza thing in less than one stream. It took me like I was trying to find like things to do for the rest of stream because I built it so fast, and I'm like, that's the difference in this game. Is there is just so much ability to build ridiculously small scale details because of the blocks they have. This game specifically is so much slower than any other building game I've played. I haven't played Valheim, so I'm not totally sure if that one's quite as time consuming, but man, it feels like the most time consuming build game there is to date. Unless I guess if you're doing like huge Minecraft builds, but boring. I heard someone describe this game as the adult Minecraft, which I've said a couple times, and I'm like, that's exactly how I feel. Like having big projects though, because I always have something to look forward to and work on, as long as I take breaks, of course, to not burn out. Yeah, that was my entire sandbox build in Grounded. It was I got super burned out on my pagoda base build thing I made. Because it didn't have enough. It was it's not, I can't say it was a small scale project, but it wasn't a large enough scale project to just allow me to bounce around between things fast enough. So like I can build forever at this point because I just allow myself, if I start with a big enough idea and a big enough build, I just have the freedom now to just, well, I'm not really feeling the armory, so I'm going to go work on like the exterior for a little bit, and then I'm going to work on the crafting area a little tonight. And it's like I've tricked my brain almost to not getting as burned out as I once was by having endless amounts of projects to switch between. Oops. Enshrouded is definitely a lot more time consuming than Valheim for me in general. Good to know. It's like, it definitely looks like there's a decent amount of detail you can do in Valheim, but it's just the scale in this game gets so small. I was never, I did not expect to see someone working on bathroom details and stuff. Like, my brain couldn't even comprehend that small of a scale, and then I was like, dude. Watching your stream today, it just was like, oh, I want to go. Now I really want to finish some of these so I can start working on some of my more... I'm going to make crafting spaces for each of the NPCs at some point. And I'm going to definitely get on that like much smaller scale. And I was like, oh, watching all those small details just made it... It just came to life. Like, it was a really cool little room already, but then getting onto that like... just ridiculously small scale just made it like absolutely come to life. I absolutely am loving the ability to just detail the living crap out of everything in this game. And I did not expect to get the like free rotation on all the items as well. That's just exploded the possibilities as well. You definitely can do a lot in Valheim, but if you add too many details, it will get laggy for low NPCs, so there's kind of a soft limit, but Enshrouded is limitless. That's nice. Oh, that is not square. Yeah, I don't feel like I've had like any major issues. The game was not liking... That was before the update, though. They changed the lighting, and it felt like that made a huge difference, because I was having some random issues with... I had like hundreds of torches placed everywhere in these big open rooms that I have, which they weren't needed. They were like absolutely excessive, but everything was so dark in this mountain that I just had like... There's probably 3 times as many torches as you currently see in here to make it visible, and now I probably don't even need half this many with the new update, so that helped a lot too. Because even like Grounded, I have the setting set to have unlimited items, and my game is just... I watched my stream back, and I was like, that was like unbearable. I don't understand why people want to keep watching me play this game, because it looks horrific at this point. It's so laggy. It's just like, I don't even really enjoy building in it anymore because my world is so laggy. Okay, the question is, we stop this here. Might be a good idea. Lighting and rendering and Enshrouded are my only cons, but maybe they'll improve with time. Yeah. I mean, it definitely seems that the lighting 100% is better than it was. I know some people don't love the like color effects that it's added, but just in a pure sense of the amount of light that each torch gives off now is much better than it was. I had way too many. It felt like you really had to place, at least in large rooms, you had to place a lot of blocks. Far too many for me. Actually, we could do... Yeah, sure. The great thing, though, is this game's still in early access. So it's like, if it's this good and they have another year at least of development, and then that's like assuming that they aren't gonna keep adding to the game afterwards, I can only imagine it's only gonna get better from here. I love the new lighting stuff. Yeah, I think it turned out really good, I think. I have yet to, like, every time I have like a little random thing that I'm like, ugh, they need first person build cam. Next update, first person build cam. Ugh, they need more blocks. Ugh, they need to like allow rotations. And every time they just keep adding it. Every time. Just hard to compare to games made in Unreal Engine because of Lumen and Nanite that make for amazing lighting and rendering. Yeah. I have to assume that they'll like figure some of those things out, but yeah. The whole like complete custom engine is like beyond my knowledge, so I definitely have like basic understanding of a lot of that, but I have like both my college, actually 2 of my college roommates were computer science majors, so I picked up a lot of stuff from them. But I am by no means an expert. This way. Enshrouded adds everything, which is so cool to see. Nice to have more complex game that listens to community. Yeah. It's like Grounded added the vast majority of things I wanted, but the issue was there was so many limitations with the game itself. So like they could only do so much. They did everything they could, but at a certain point, like they ran out of being an Unreal Engine 4. Like you could just only do so much, unfortunately. So it made it a little tougher. But this is like pure freedom. They want it. It's just how much time do they want to put into it? I'd have to assume that like eventually there is a capability that they find that the ability to do those random things, maybe up the lighting and all those. It's just how long is that going to take them? They have yet to let me down, so I have very high hopes with these developers. Interesting. The light seems to bounce more, so backlighting and bounce lighting work better than before. Yeah, they definitely, the spread is better. Like each torch or light source definitely produces a lot more lighting on its own, which is really nice. And it just, everything just looks just a little more polished every time they do something. A little bit more. These. Still trying to wrap my brain around this rotating. The whole new system. Wrong. Great chatting. I'm off to bed now. I'll catch you later. Sounds good, Chisel. Thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate it. I'm sure I'll catch you on your next stream. Works out perfect that they're always during my work hours, so I just always have something to chill and watch. Figure out how to sculpt grim dark walls and stuff. There's a lot of interesting... That's another thing I haven't seen. Like, there's someone that made like a horse out of the terrain materials. Like, as they add more terrain materials, that whole aspect of the game is going to get ridiculous too. All right, this looks really good. I really like how this turned out. Thank you, Chip. Appreciate it. You have a great rest of your night, man. Catch you on the next one. Question is, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? That means there'd be like one there, maybe. I'm okay without it. Not always about following the same exact grid. All right. That looks so cool. It's like the perfect amount of lighting. It almost makes it look like skylights or something. How late do you stream? Typically till... It kind of depends on when I start. I'd say my standard time is from 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 11 p.m. Like tonight I started at 7:45, so I'll probably stop like 10:45 or so. I typically, from whenever I start, I try to stream for 3 hours. It's been my goal recently. It all just kind of depends on how the day goes. This is where it's going to get more difficult. These, like... Like, really like the way this looks. I guess I could have thought this through slightly better, but I like the double... Really like the way... Or, yeah. Stuff to stand on. Okay. These corner ones are gonna be where it gets a little more difficult, I think. Because I really like that this isn't super wide. It works really well with these windows, so we're gonna have to figure that out. Oops. Gotta head out for a bit, but might still be on when I get back. If not, have a great rest of your stream. Thank you. Have a great rest of your night if I don't see you again. I also stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday as well. So if I don't see you tonight, I'll be back on Friday. 2, 3, 4, 3. Yeah, I'm doing that wrong, aren't I? Yeah. Biggest struggle: learning how to count properly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Math is hard. Not like I'm teaching a 2-year-old how to count right now or anything. Alright. This is... I gotta probably be more careful about using too many of these blocks. Let's try not to be too wasteful. You have to do a bit, of course, but... Oh no. Perfect. Dude, I love... So this is like specifically why I really, really like the granite blocks. Is this like... This little effect... See it better with this block. This little effect where it just... How it ties in, the voxel piece ties in all the other blocks. It's not necessarily as interesting with that block specifically, but when you start adding in other block types, it looks so good. Like that to me is just such a great little finish detail there. Yes, it covers up an entire block, but I just absolutely love the way that the system works for the voxel. It doesn't mean all the blocks are necessarily the easiest to use, but they've done a really, really good job with this little voxel system they got going. So, I think the way I'm going to have to do this, mentally, it's kind of messing with me, but I think in the sort of like north, south, east, west directions, we'll get a 2-window wide option. And then in these like, what, northwest, southwest, east, west, whatever. northeast, southeast, all whatever you want to call them. That come in an angle, we might have to go with like more of a rectangular style. That's going to be interesting. I guess it will be a square if I get this other block placed correctly. This is supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And naturally, I removed one of those. So we might do slightly more square blocks going that way. I don't know. That's probably the only way this is going to work. Unless I could do like a more repetitive 6 block, but then it gets weird. Yeah, the angle doesn't... You either get like everything from this block going that way is going to be facing this direction, and then like everything from this block is facing this direction. I don't know. I don't think that's going to look as interesting. I kind of like the extra detail that maybe squares might provide in these specific directions. All right. One sec. I'm going to sit down real fast. I'm standing at my sit-stand desk, so my back's killing me. But that is the lovely perk of having a sit-stand desk. Let me just make sure the camera's looking good. Perfect. Chair's not comfortable. Not like a little seat cushion, because my chair sucks. I've had it for too long. I have to get it positioned like perfectly or it feels weird. I made the poor decision to deadlift yesterday for some odd reason, like thinking that was something my body might enjoy. Couldn't tell you why. I make poor decisions sometimes. And so now my legs and back and everything are killing me every time. Actually, we're going to have to go to the resource world and get a bunch more of these. Dang. Because this ain't enough. Also, why do not the blocks... Why do they not organize together? That is another question I have. Pet peeve in my, like, OCD need for consistency drives me insane that the blocks don't automatically, like, sit next to each other and the windows don't sit next to each other. It just kind of, like... Maybe there's a system that I just don't understand, but it drives me insane right now. Like, I find myself doing stupid stuff like this all the time. All right, that'll work. Go hop in the resource world real quick. That was another thing with Chisel Chip. He doesn't use a resource world on a lot of his stuff. I'm like... I would have no life. I'd have to stay up until 5 or 6 in the morning every day, grinding materials. Not that like this is the worst grinding game in the world by any means. I would say if anything, the fact that you can like load in and out really quickly to reset spawns makes it extremely quick compared to most games. But I guess I just don't have time in life anymore. Actually, do I need to reload? I think I do. Oh, there they are. Okay, perfect. That might be enough. Might not. I think it's interesting because playing Grounded, I had this like very specific way I liked playing the game, and it was based around collecting all the materials for some reason. And I started playing Enshrouded, and I'm like, I think I did it long enough. I have no desire anymore. I still like playing everything legit and doing as much as I can legit, but when it comes to just like mega building and trying to get content out, I no longer enjoy spending every minute of my day grinding materials. I would much rather get content out for people. So some people don't like that, but I'm kind of like, at this point in life, what the heck? At this point in life, I just don't have time anymore. Mixing those blocks, what the heck? I wish I had the time to grind games all day, but I think I also had a few arguments with people that, like, for some reason thought they were, like, morally superior because they grinded all their materials, and I realized I was like, why would I even care? I'm like, you know, honestly, if someone wants to get mad, that's their problem in life. That'd be a nice little feature, is the ability to, like, quickly tell what angle it is. Maybe like a notification or something. I feel like I need to be writing all these random things down. I have a list of things that I wanted to get added. Some of these are really good. But like angle? An angle indicator? And then I like the E pickup button needs to tell you the block it's picking up. That way, because like, what am I picking up? Like, what is this trying to pick up right now? In what universe does anyone know which block that was that my game is trying to? It's one of these. So I'm guessing it's the one directly above it, but like at the same time, like the fact that it doesn't just say is really confusing. I tend to think brain dead is the way to go with quality of life, things like that. The more simple you make it, the more people will enjoy it, especially because this game is like, I really enjoy the like insane complexity that it has, but I think a lot more people would really, really like it if it wasn't maybe quite so complicated. And I think that just comes down to the fact that there's a handful of quality of life things that would make it exponentially easier for people to understand quickly. That was my biggest gripe when I first started playing. I actually like held off for months playing this game because I was like, the voxel system's so insane, but the build system hurts my brain. And it's not because it's like poorly made, but there's just no game that I think comes even close to the complexity of this game. When you talk about like building capabilities. So it's like, I think there's a fine line in terms of if you're going to make it complicated for endless ability, then you really have to like make some of the simple concepts stupid easy. Honestly, I told myself that I was going to be more efficient, and I'm realizing like I think that's a waste of time. I think it's like exponentially easier to just use these blocks and say screw it. Like realistically, I'm saving this little row here in each one of these. So yes, I guess it's a couple hundred blocks potentially, but like realistically, I don't think that's going to save many frames at the end of the day. If this game's going to break, it's not going to be because of that. And I've also seen people with builds probably 10 times bigger than what I'm currently working on. So I have to think that we have a lot of flexibility as we go. In theory. I say that not knowing anything, but in theory. It does hurt my eyes less, though, so I guess there's that. Until it's built. I'm the one who lurks in the shadows of the dark halls of life, here to surprise the wonders who I meet. Love it. I get some, like... every time you join the stream now, you have some, like, crazy, like, Batman thing going on. Oh my gosh, he did it again. I thought you're just trying to create this, like, scene. You're over here just, like... chilling in the background, and you just do it to donate 5 again, dude. Every stream, Knife. Holy cow, dude. Everyone needs a knife in their life, y'all. Chris, Nemesis the God, Gabriel, Vortex, Will Kelvin. Everyone got a free sub or a free membership. Make sure to thank your local knife dragon. He's a G. He's carrying this entire community to success right now. I don't know how he does it. But I'm not sure we'd all be here without him. So thank you again, Knife. I appreciate you, man. You are my Batman in shining armor? Don't worry, I'm not too sharp. Well, with how much effort and donations and all that stuff you put into the stream and being here pretty much every night, I'd call you the sharpest stack around. I'll call you whatever you want at this point. You're feeding my child at this point. He wouldn't eat without you. One of these days, I'll memorize which grid is which button, but it won't be today. Every time I do this rotation thing, I have to look at the little cheat sheet. Like, wait, which one is it? Chocolate. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I didn't do math. Uh-oh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no. I hate my life. Not always here, but I will be president of chat. I mean, at this point, we've lost Jeremy. So I think you're the honorary president at this point. I haven't seen Crazy in a while either, so he lost his privileges as well. Although I don't think he was going to be president. Again. I hate myself. Some freaking times, dude. I didn't count this out. I should have done it different. Oh no. How am I going to fix this? I got ahead of myself. It's such an easy thing to fix too, because all I had to do was not build this and center this, and we were done. It was so easy. Crap. Where is Luda? Is he on Twitch? He was here earlier. He's just lurking now. The question is, can I even center this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If those are 4 apart, we'd have to do like that maybe? Turn my headphones down. He was here for the first, I don't know, 45 minutes or so of stream, maybe? Again, so there's no center, so we'd have to go... Can I... Do I have the room to do any of that? Yes? No? Not really. So I'd have to go one more out. We'd almost have to build it like this. Let me be a lesson to everyone. Don't get ahead of yourself. There's some about this game. I find myself doing this constantly where I get way too excited about something and just absolutely screw myself. The dumbest ways. Don't worry, my math is difficult. Miners dig 120 ore per mine, smelters 30 ore per minute, and also got to account for belt speed and everything. And it's annoying, and power is the most annoying. Wait, in what? Huh? You're talking about a game? You're talking about practice. Oh, I'm so pissed at myself right now, dude. I got lost in all the math there, honestly. Oh, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would need to go there. Oh, satisfactory. Yeah. I haven't played it, so I was like, I'm missing something here. Dude, how incredible. Why am I placing... I should have done the grid the whole freaking time. I'm such an idiot. That also makes all of this line up annoyingly, like, almost perfect. Because this is gonna need to be... Oh my god, it is perfect, isn't it? 1, 2, 3... I'm so annoyed at myself. This all works perfectly if I would have just laid this out correctly from the start. What an idiot. That's so irritating that I do this to myself so often. It's like it's fine. I'm here to show everyone my mistakes, but do I have to do them in such annoying ways sometimes? Crap. All right. Bite the bullet. Let's do the whole grid. Honestly, I probably don't even need to move all these because I think they will maybe... No, they'd be one off. I'm thinking about it correct. Brain is going to be your downfall. It is, 100%. Everyone's brain is their downfall at the end of the day. I just get way too excited and just start doing things with, like, as I was talking to, so Chisel Chip was in here earlier, another awesome building streamer and content creator who's been playing a ton of Enshrouded, and I was talking to him, and I'm like the hardest thing for me to do is, as like a content creator, is he has these, like, he does, I would call them small scale, but he does like more individual building style builds, and so they create these perfect, like, they're not easy, they're very detailed and stuff, but he has this like really good methodology in how he creates build guides and how he does those, and like he goes through the whole build process. He keeps the builds on a scale that like work really well, and that means that he has a much better like planning concept in his head when he's doing this stuff, whereas like I just build what's cool. Like my brain says, I want to build that. I make a huge room and I just start filling it, and I just sort of like slowly think through each piece individually and figure them out, and they sort of come together in this like grand scale. And I don't understand. I think some people probably get that, and other people are like, your brain hurts me, because like I don't understand how you just come up with these ideas and send it. And I think I just really enjoy the like creative process of trial and error. I think if I learned anything in architecture school, it was just like, let your ideas flow and don't hold them back. Like, don't try to plan too much in the beginning stages. Like, to make things functional, you have to do some planning. But as long as you have a basic, decent understanding of, like, the core concepts of how buildings work and those sort of things, like, it's a lot easier to just kind of, like, wing it as you go. And my brain, I've learned, really just likes to wing it as it goes. It's my ADHD thought processes, I think. Okay. But, like, in terms of, like, making content, not great for, like, the standard person. Not great for making, like, build guides and stuff, unfortunately. Actually makes it exponentially harder. The builds that the few videos I have done on, like, build guides were, like, incredibly difficult for my brain to do. I had to, like, literally build the entire thing I wanted to build, or like, half of it. So I had the ideas and I knew what I was doing, and then I was able to sort of, like, start the build guide from that thought process, but it wasn't very fun for me. I realized very quickly that I don't think I'm a build guide kind of creator. Although that people love that stuff, it just does not work very well with my thought process. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think some people just want to, like, copy builds, and I learned that I'm much more interested in teaching people about building than I am about building for them. Like, I think there's 100% a time and place for content like Chisel Chips. Like, I really enjoy the build guide stuff, but I learned that it's just not how I'm gonna work. My goal is not to, as corny as it is, like, teach a man to fish, or give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. Like, I'm learning that I want to teach people how to build, not build things for them. And like, as much as I enjoyed that, I didn't enjoy it. Let's be honest. That like, pagoda-based build guide was not very fun for me to make. It's just not very fun. I don't know how any other way to say it. My brain does not enjoy itself doing those videos. They're just, like, super time consuming, and it's really boring to rebuild something that I've already built. And I love seeing everyone else's creativity as well. It all takes time, correct. 100%. It definitely all takes, like, its own time and stuff. But I think what I learned is that, yeah, I like teaching people. I want to help people become builders. I don't want to, like, build for them. I think that's a much more valuable skill. Like, if you're going to build bases in games, you should probably, like, learn basic design concepts and stuff. I think a lot of people would be a lot happier with the stuff they make. As cool as it is, like, there's nothing wrong with, like, using someone's base at all. Like, especially because I fully understand that, like, not everyone is super creative and, like, enjoys that process. But I also think, like, there's a lot of value in learning how to do it yourself and think like a designer. So that's kind of the niche I'm trying to fill. I'm just trying to figure out how I fill it at this point as well. What's up, Josue? How's it going? Just got home from work. What's new with the build? Well, it looked a lot cooler about 5 minutes ago. But I realized I miscounted everything, and so we're redoing it. So you're going to get to see everything we're doing. Don't mind my ridiculous scaffolding at this point. It's just to work on the roof. This will all go away, this whole floor. We got all of the armor mounts done. So these are all good to go. They're all updated and have every single armor piece in the game. We did a little bit of work on... This was like 4 windows previously. Now I matched it to the ones below with the dragon heads for the 3 special armor pieces, whatever you want to call them. Did a little cleanup, just adding little details. don't think we did a whole lot more. I can't remember what all you've seen, so if something looks weird or different, not weird, just ask. Tend to watch someone build something and then wing my own version of it or taking parts of it. Yeah, you could do style guide type of stuff. I think a lot of people need that. Yeah, I think what I've really enjoyed, so like I've done a couple, I'm figuring out the process that I like and like how to present the information in a useful way. But I did a like let's build episode, and that's not necessarily how I want to present the information or anything yet. But it was just like how to build better stairs was the concept. My thing that I really like is I would love to stream all of this and then do more like my top 10 build tips to build better in Grounded, top 10 build tips to build better in Enshrouded, top 10 build tips to so on and so forth. Because then it's like, hey, these are tips to help you be a better builder. And they're not like, I'm not just giving you the build. I'm not just giving you the design. I think it adds value. And it helps people think through my methodology. I have a lot of people ask, like, how do you build this stuff? How are you so creative? And I'm like, it's that same sort of thing, like what you're saying, Joe, is like, I like finding an interesting idea and then taking that idea. Like I'm literally looking at someone's ceiling right now. Like I found a realistic coffered ceiling that's built very similar to this concept. There's a grid on the outside and a light on the inside. And then I'm adding windows and my own details and my own patterning because they're not squares, and I make it my own and make it fit the build I'm using. And I'd much rather help someone learn how to take a basic concept and make it their own, because it's so much more rewarding than just like, not that there's anything wrong with like copying a base or anything, but I think it's just so much more rewarding to like say, this is mine. Like came up with this. This is all me. The 3 armors that are above the heads I really like in the window depth. Thank you. Yeah, these are like the legendary armors, I guess I'd call them. So there's the wizard, the melee, and the ranger ones. And that was sort of like my whole idea. That was originally when Luderav was like, what if you did more dragon heads, like 3 of them? I was like, actually, that's perfect, because then I can put the armor pieces, like the specialty armor pieces above it. And I was like, dude, this looks sick. So worked out really well. I think it's also interesting, like, I have just a really interesting, like, wing it attitude towards building in video games. Because, like, I was, as working in an architecture firm, and, like, you had to be so on top of it. Like, you couldn't just wing it as you went. Like, you had to have the ideas, you had to have the thoughts together before you could just send it and, like, do whatever. Like, you really had to think things through to be successful in architecture. And so for me, it was like, it's been really fun breaking away from that very monotonous style of being creative, where it's like rinse and repeat. This is how you design a good bedroom. Like, I'm designing a housing project. Like every housing project ever made right now, they all use the same rough concept. And if you don't do it, you're an idiot, because, like, why would you change the system? Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it sort of mentality. And that got really monotonous and boring to me. Just was, like, no longer having fun, like, doing that creative styling in life. And so I've really enjoyed just, like, for a lack of a better term, throwing shit against the wall and seeing if it sticks. I wonder how people would react to an image. Sometimes I found videos difficult to sift through. I find it useful to learn what pieces in Enshrouded fit in specific elements of architecture. That could be really interesting. I have to think through it. Because that's definitely, like with Grounded, it was more about, like my top 10 build tips was like how to make more interesting builds, like how an architect would think this stuff through. And it just became this like, I took architectural concepts, but I massively like simplified them, I guess is the way I would put it. So I think like most people probably wouldn't even have necessarily realized I was talking about like kind of architectural elements. But if my goal is essentially help people become video game architects, then like why wouldn't I go about it that way, right? Try relating it more specifically to architectural elements. Like what I'm doing here. I don't know if 99.9% of people would realize it, but like another builder in the community, XYZ, is also an architect. And he was just like, oh, dude, like, what about a coffered ceiling? And I was like, my brain was already thinking that, but I didn't. For some reason, I think I've simplified the way I think about those things, because like the vast majority of people, like I say coffered ceiling, and they're like, what the heck is this dude talking about? Because if you didn't do it professionally, it doesn't. Oh my God, they're all off. If you didn't do architecture or study architecture or like architectural history, like any of those things, you probably would never know any of that. What any of that specific terminology means. But finding a way to simplify that for people would be a pretty interesting way of like creating some videos. Because if I do anything with this channel, I want to teach people how to think like a designer. Like if you watch my channel trailer on YouTube, like that is exactly what I'm trying to lay out, is like, I want to help you think like a designer and think like an architect, but relate it specifically back to video game design stuff. I studied concept art and game design, which makes me approach things from a style guide. Yeah, that's really interesting. Because it's like not necessarily how I approach things. Wait. Yeah, that's right. Could be interesting. I might have to look up some videos like that are out there. And like this, like why didn't I count this the first time, dude? If all I did was count this right, it ends up perfect for how I had this laid out already. Like what a goofball. Yeah, for me it's like, oops. I want to find simple ways to describe complicated concepts to people at the end of the day. Maybe not complicated to everyone, but for the vast majority of people building in a video game, they're probably not thinking like architects necessarily, so. That. Which means I think we can get rid of this to have that work. Yeah, that should work. Could just spread this, I guess. Spread that ceiling. Whoa, wait a second. That was too much. Let's figure out one side first before we go too crazy. Because I think that's like, in terms of a niche that I would like to fill, I think there's a lot of incredible builders, like Chisel Chip is a great example. He builds incredible things, he makes incredible build guides, but he doesn't necessarily think the way I think. He doesn't necessarily do things the way I do them. Which I think would be really useful information for people to have in like a more design sense. Like, it's not just about building cool things. Like, you can have a lot more fun learning about the concepts as you go. And my wife has always said I would have made a good teacher of this stuff. I don't necessarily want to like I had no desire to teach people architecture, but I actually really enjoy this part of it where like I get to do it and teach people at the same time, which has been really fun. It makes for a very like interesting platform to me, at least. Now it's just figuring out how I want to supply that information to people in the long run. But concept art and game design is really cool as well. It'd be fun. I think that's my struggle is I don't like doing one thing. I like doing lots of things. I want to do everything. I have always hated the idea of being tied down to one thing in life. There's nothing more boring to me than like having to do the same thing every day. It's the most soul-sucking way to live a life. Yeah, we need this way. As my dad always said, this is the realest shit you're ever gonna hear. I didn't have a midlife crisis. My dad said this. He's like, I didn't have a midlife crisis. I had a quarter life crisis. And it's when you get out of school and you realize that you're going to have to go do something for the rest of your damn life. Or at least 30 to 40 years of it. And that's a pretty depressing thought when you think about it. When you don't really, really enjoy what you do. And I definitely hit that that point in life. I was like, I had a child. I was doing the same job every day. Not that I hate my job. It's not a bad job by any means, but it's also not like the coolest thing around. And I was like, dude, I'm going to have to do this for almost the rest of my life. It makes you really start thinking things through a little differently. I'm like, I don't know if I can do any one thing forever for the rest of my life. I physically don't know if I could do it. I need the variability in the things I do. To not lose my my mind. Streaming is your niche? Yeah, I think there's a huge part of mega building and stuff that there's a niche out there to do it live. Especially like, I mean, once the community grows over time, that also makes it exponentially easier. It's just like, just going to take time to keep growing things. But like Chisel Chips in a perfect example, he just like decided not that long ago even that he was going to start streaming the random like interior build process that he used to just like sit and do by himself. And he'd skip over it. And I was like, I saw him live streaming his interior decorating stuff for all of his builds. And I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. Like that same concept of like showing people live and like utilizing that time more productively. Teaching people about things live as well is just such a cool concept. The interactions are really fun. So there's a huge niche. It's just growing and getting there is all. Getting there to the amount of people. It was like today he almost had 200 people or something watching his stream. I'm like, that would be so sick. But he's been doing this for a long time, so can't get too hard ahead of ourselves. Everyone's got to put in their time when it comes to streaming and that stuff. You ever seen the Dammy Lee videos? They might give you some inspiration in the direction you seem to be going. I'll check them out. I have not. I've never even heard of them. Interesting, interesting. She's a YouTube video maker? Cool. I've been spending a lot of my spare time just researching stuff and learning about video editing, video production, all the things that I don't know. Like, I know building, I know design, but it's the other things of, like, getting the message that I want to get across in the most effective way possible. Finding, like, how I want to use my voice. I know I have, like, interesting and useful things to say to people on YouTube and Twitch. It's just figuring out, like, how I want to say it. What's the most effective way to say it? All those concepts. It's always great to branch out into new things because you can bring in different types of people. Yeah, for sure. And, like, my top 10 build tips for Grounded was a great video, and it's done incredibly well, but I want to find a way to make that more broad. And, like, how to put the videos together in a way that isn't just for the game I'm playing at the moment, and maybe more geared towards a larger audience. So I don't necessarily have to, like, rely on the success of just one game. It's like Grounded is the perfect example of, like, putting all your eggs into one basket. Not that it didn't, like, blow up on me specifically, but, like, outside of, like, Jade, I feel like most of the Grounded creators have, like, fallen off the face of the earth. Like, I don't know where any of them are. Every once in a while, they toss out a video here and there, but it's like they put their entire livelihood of content creation into one game, and then it collapsed because the game essentially died, and then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to fall into that trap. Finding a good way to do this, creating longevity, I think is the key for me. She's an architect too, but does it from video game perspective or lighting or just describing spaces. The Venice videos she did influence my Enshrouded build. That sounds... All right. I'm in. You convinced me. I was already going to look it up, don't worry. But I love that, like, being able to see other people's ideas. I've always felt like I'm not, like, the person who's going to come up with, like, the most unique creative design out of nowhere, like some creative people do, but I love looking at other people's ideas, learning how their perspective on things or whatever it may be, and then how I can transform that into my own style and my own thought processes. Because I can't say, like, anything I create is 100% like me. I think everything everyone does in the creative world these days, honestly, like, everyone takes ideas. No one is this, like, perfect, amazing creator that just magically changes the game at this point. Like, everything's been done in some way, shape, or form. So it's more about how do you take someone else's good idea and turn it into your own good idea to fit the circumstance that you're currently working on. I think that is hard for some people to understand, because if you look at some of the things people build in these games, you're like, dude, how'd you come up with that? I've never seen that ceiling before. And I'm like, actually, I saw a different version of it with different windows and different blocks. But it's almost the same concept. It's like it's built into the game already. Like, but if you just immediately thought everyone was just this incredibly creative person, you'd, like, get down on yourself really quick and be like, I'm just not that creative. And I'm like, neither am I. I think the vast majority of people aren't that creative. And I want to help people understand that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I like you and Chisel Chip because it is way different perspectives than the way I build. Yeah, I love like Chisel Chip. I am an exterior big picture designer. Chisel Chip feels like a small scale interior kind of designer. And so it's like very counterintuitive to the way I immediately think. And so it's like it's a really good way to challenge your thought processes. Because without that like outside influence, you'll just do the same things. Now, learning from people that do things completely different to the way you would do them is very valuable. And that's like how we all make our name and stuff at the end of the day, whether you're doing architecture or video games. Like, it doesn't actually matter what the medium is necessarily. It's just like, how do you tell a story? Like, the next video I'm working on is how to use storytelling. How to use storytelling. Something's off. Oh, I'm an idiot. How do you use storytelling to make better bases? Because I often find, like, people don't understand the concept of, like, telling a story through design. And unless you're a designer, like, why would you at the same time? So, got off early Friday, and I don't have to work Saturday. Woo, last week I had 20 hours of overtime. Oof. Oh, I got off. You get off early this Friday? Is that what you're saying? All right. This is looking much better now. Wait a second. Who stole my roof? Movement through a space is really important to me, or from one space to another. Yeah, that's actually like part of... So I'm working through like my top 10 tips to build better in Enshrouded video, because I really like just basic, quick, easy to understand tips. That grounded video is still my best video ever, so I want to recreate that in some way. And one of the main tips I wanted to talk about was, I don't think it's as important in grounded, but I think like visual cues. I wish I remember. What's the exact... I have it written down. The tip is... line of sight. That was the wording. Using line of sight as a way to like pull you through a base. I think this base, although there's so much to do still, I think I've already, on complete accident, done that exact thing, like that line of sight to create movement. So like you walk in and it's like, wait, there's this, wait, there's something upstairs, wait, there's these glimpses and these like line of sight visual cues that are telling you like, oh, come over here, wait, you can see through here, you can, oh, you come up here and then there's a balcony, and now, okay, now it makes me want to move and go up here. And then you see this line of sight, and then it brings you back and you have line of sights to the places you've already been. And so it's like creating these, instead of just a room with a door and a room with a door and a room with a door, it's like, how do you visually experience these spaces? And I think a lot of that is like line of sight, and that the way exactly you say, like the movement through the space from one to another, like the visual cue telling you, okay, here you go. And then you create an interesting element to push you or move you through that space. A unique set of stairs, even though this set of stairs isn't incredibly like amazingly designed or anything, like it draws you upwards. It has visual cues everywhere you look, seeing to the next area. So it's like you walk through and it makes you want to. And then you might come over to this space and then you're like, wait a second, what do I see from this bridge? Like there's something interesting happening back in that room. So now you're pulled visually to move through the space. And then yes, you want to come and explore all of this, but then there's also like right when you walk in immediately, this is telling you like there's stuff right here too. There's this big piece, there's a big design decision that happened here telling you like you want to look where this is going. And so you just go. And then, oh, wait a second. Now we're in this even bigger space. And like the perfect example, I've covered it up now, but you'll see all of this, but then at the back, this effect here is going to be kind of crawling out, and that's going to be another visual cue that draws you further into the space. And that's a very common thing used in like a lot of architectural designs, is like the ability to pull you through the space. Yesterday I worked till 1 a.m. and yes, this Saturday and Friday. Whew. But you get off early though, so that's nice. I can't handle long weeks like this bad. I don't ever. I'm a wimp, dude. I work 32 hours a week, bro. Full-time salaried position, 32 hours a week. It's just because we get half-day Fridays, because the vast majority of our business is East Coast stuff, so it's like, why sit around when everyone's already gone to bed? They out of there. The squares are going to be interesting, too. This is going to be interesting. I'm all right with this. Being able to use the new rotation tool to make small diagonal structures really helped the space feel more organic. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I'm still working through it because I haven't done a lot of angled stuff yet. I'm still like figuring it out, but this is going to be a concept. Like, that's really simple, and this isn't even close to what I'm going to end up building. This is once I really get into it, it's going to be really interesting. Like Chisel Chip did, if anyone wanted to check it out, he did a video or a live stream today, and he did just a really simple bedroom with 2 angled doors. And he kind of did the same, let's see if I can. He just did it's like, you can't do angled walls necessarily, but he used this effect of like, he did sort of this thing, and that was the angled wall, and then he just angled the door to match. Naturally, I don't have any doors. Let's see. I think I have a couple down here. Wow. And it took this like really just simple, elegant little bedroom, and it was like incredible how good it looked just with like something like this. And you're like, that's all he did is took this. Naturally, I'm not going to be able to erase these. Whoa, now let me do it. No, it doesn't really matter. But he did like in a simple effect like this, and I'm like, bro, what? Like, how good does a little angled door look? Like, I did not expect it to look so cool, but it's incredible how good it looks. It's all about flow and purpose, yes, 100%. Like, I mean, imagine if these weren't here. Let's just do it. Do it right. Get it right. Get it tight. For the stream, yo. Like, when you get it all angled up, like, he just did something like that. He used a couple angled windows above to sort of, I think, extend the feel of the door, so then it only had like the visual blockiness way above, but it looks so good. And I'm like, there's just, the possibilities are endless with this new rotation. I haven't even touched the surface. Like, I'm using everything in 90 degrees still for the most part, other than like that railing. Everything else is completely done on the same block grid. So it's like, I have a lot of work to do to figure that stuff out, but I'm trying to find more effective ways to do it so it isn't so difficult at times. It can feel really difficult at times messing with them. Okay, we're definitely headed in the right direction with this though. It feels unfortunate that we had to start over, but it's going to make it better. 6 days are a nightmare, but we sometimes get Saturday off, but this one we work 48 hours a week normally. Oof. That's rough. It's a lot of work. I mean, we all got to work, but I work to live. I don't live to work. Might mean we might want to like erase that. Just so that lines up. I feel like that's going to feel nice because I don't think this matters. Yeah, there's plenty of room in these. That's good. Okay. Get in your home. No, your other home. Beautiful. Bubba Sparks? What? Is that your bong's name? Nothing like good old Wesley Pipes. I had a couple buddies that had the funniest names for their smoking apparatuses. Oh, listen to that rain. That's peaceful AF. Loving that. Alright, the question is, how many blocks is this? 5, I'm guessing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's make some more small adjustments. Because realistically, ooh, that actually doesn't work. Because it gets off there. I think I like them lining up better. I think I could figure it out. Tough. Guess maybe we just have to do that. Actually, that'll probably work perfect, because that means that all of that's going to be... No, it's not. Wait. Okay. Don't get too far ahead of myself. Oh, you said get it right, get it tight, and that's lyrics to one of his songs. Oh, okay. I did not put it together. Love how I say it and I don't even realize I'm doing what I'm doing. I had a baby bong that was smaller than my hand. You use a blowtorch. I don't remember how many times I burned myself. That sounds horrible. Made a small diagonal bridge out of tables, then layered upside down tables that made the legs look like support structures. Are you part of the Discord? I need to see these ideas. Wait a second. What? Hello? Restream? What the heck just happened? My restream just decided to like die. The heck? Let me know if we're still here. Please. I have no clue what just happened. Okay. Oh, you are? What's your name on Discord? I'm not sure if the stream just died a little bit. My restream account just like logged out. I had to log back in real quick. Back in action? What's up, Dylan? How's it going? Or always. This is what we do, man. All day. Every day. Yes, we're good? Okay. I got scared. Luckily, like, OBS didn't have any issues, but I was like, what the heck? Post some photos when I am able to get online. Oh, Liquidish. Okay. I actually saw you in Chisel Chips thing, too. I was like, saw something. Yeah, you, like, posted something today. And I was like, dude, that looks sick. What's up? Marty? How's it going? Okay, let's place some more windows. $10:30. It's crazy. Time flies when you're having fun with good peeps. That even? Oh, that's not where it goes though. Oh, duh. That's the hardest part about streaming is everyone has like the vast majority of people have a different name on Twitch, a different name on YouTube, and a different name on Discord. So like my brain, that is like my biggest weakness is like name recognition. And so I'm constantly like, crap, I know who this is. Nope, I don't. Wait, is this someone I know? I recognize the name on Twitch and then I forget that they have a different name on YouTube. And then everyone decides to use one thing over the other the next day. So it's like rinse and repeat. Gotta go. Sounds good, Knife. Thank you again for the 5 gifted memberships, man. You are an amazing person. You know, wishing this would come to console. I'm running out of games. Seriously, though. I am so happy that I have this game to play. I don't know what I'd be doing with my life without it. I'm having way too much fun building in this game. So, bad news, spring 2026 is when they said it'll come to console. It's like, relatively speaking, that's not that long, but like legitimately speaking, that's incredibly long. Rough times, rough times. I posted a bit on Chisel Chip's Discord for base sharing. I haven't shared my bridge yet. Ooh. Give me the exclusive access. I need it. I just, unfortunately, because like half the people play on console and stuff, like there's just so few people playing Enshrouded in my Discord right now that it feels disjointed at the moment. Not everyone playing the same thing. Don't have different names. Don't worry. I won't mess with you. I know you're good. Don't worry. I'm ooze and die on everything. Yes. I appreciate the continuity with some people's because it's tough. Not that it's easy to get your name on both platforms by any means. So there's nothing wrong with it. But man, it makes my life so much easier. Because I can't remember anything as it is, so the more challenges, the worse. My YouTube name is really old, and it was taken when I made Discord. Yeah, that happens. I got super lucky. The only account that I don't have the same name in is TikTok, and I decided I hate TikTok with a burning passion, and I will never use it again, so I don't even use that anymore. I'm kind of contemplating building out these squares. As maybe just keeping them as lights. Which might make more sense in a second. $2026, but still. It'll be worth the wait, I can promise. But, like, sell that console and buy a PC at the same time. As a ex-hardcore console player, I cannot recommend switching to PC enough. It's got a little bit more difficult entry point compared to just like buying a console and everything works, but if you really want to like get into games, like it just the flexibility, the ability, like pretty much every game gets like mod support of some kind for PC, and you don't get that on console. Like perfect example, I feel like I've said this a bunch, not today, but in the past week. Huge Hogwarts Legacy fan, love Harry Potter. I almost bought it on my Switch at one point, because that's what I had, and I was like, well, I'm not going to, like, I stream and do all this other stuff. I'm not going to have time to just, like, play a bunch of Hogwarts Legacy. So if I buy it on my Switch, I can play it on, like, vacations and, like, I love my Switch for, like, really long-term games that I just love. Like, I have Subnautica and Slay the Spire and, like, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and, like, just games that I, like, absolutely love and really enjoy. And so it's like really fun having that like handheld thing to have forever sort of and play whenever. when I really have the most time to do those things. But Hogwarts Legacy came out with mod support on PC and nothing else. And so everyone that doesn't have it on PC is like dying right now because I have this incredible update and no one else got it. So I'm a huge fan of being a PC person. What if you zigzag those smaller window frames, like moving them up and down? Not sure if that makes sense. Like waves. Like this way? Like up and down. Like unfortunately they don't like this? Up and down this way? Or like doing something like this. And then having one mirrored? Oh no, wrong direction. Oh jeez. Alright, reset. Are you thinking they're too repetitive right now? What you thinking? Tilted. Interesting. I like the idea of it. My only hesitation is that this might be my laziness talking. It sounds miserable trying to tilt these. Is my only hesitation. If they had like an easier way to lock them in, I would probably be all for that. Because I can see what you're saying, and I can already like mentally sort of picture what is happening, and I'm like that. I think that would be really cool. But getting them all lined up perfectly every time, and not doing what I tend to do, which is place things incorrectly. Where I don't even know where those ones I place up in the ceiling are going. Hopefully not gone forever. And add a little depth against the white. Yeah, it might help, honestly. I mean, we could try one. Let's see. What's the angle? T? 1. So if we go evens, 1, 2, 3, 2. 2's about all you can get. It works great when you're just placing the same thing over and over again. Never hurts having someone play devil's advocate for you, honestly. 1, 2. It's not bad. I'm not sure if it's enough. I don't love that it clips through my little things. Like, I almost need like a slightly extra space. So slightly extra space. I need slightly more space so it's not clipping through that little thing here. Like that small detail that you can't see where it's like clipping. I don't love that. But it is like, it's nice though. I'd almost have to like switch a bunch of stuff. I don't know. That's tough. Definitely adds a cool little effect. Might break up the monotony a little bit as well. Maybe if I threw it in like just a few lines, or like, I guess like you were saying, maybe it goes both ways. I don't know. Like this one goes up, this one goes down, this one goes up, that one goes down. Oof. My issue, Joe, is you're just like Luderav. I get halfway through this thing, and then you guys want to tell me this cool, interesting idea. And I'm like, dang it, you waited until I got like 200 of these things placed to come up with this interesting idea? Gosh, dang it. This looks all sorts off, what I got going on here. Is it? I can't tell. Blue, red. Enshrouded. Oh no. And that also screws me up is the angle changes depending on the direction you're looking at. Huh. Totally get that. It would be tedious for sure. Yeah, I'm like, the issue is I do kind of like it. I just don't know yet. I have to decide if it's worth. It's a very minor detail that looks really good when you're there. The question is how much better, or does it add enough detail when you're like here? Because none of this actually is a thing. We'll see. Had a PS5 Portal thing just to play on night shift on my downtime. Had to have the system on and you can play anywhere, but connection was so bad for some reason. Long story short, I sold it. Ooh. I mean, if it doesn't really work, it's not very fun, but I do love my PC. If you got the money for the PCs, it's real good. Just spitballing? No, I love it. That's what Luderav normally does for me, so it's nice having someone that's up later than him. For once. His time zone's so much different, it's really difficult to, like, have him be in stream all night, but, I mean, he, like, specifically had, like, pushed me to fix one little random detail that was, like, clipping through here, and then it ended up making the whole thing just look more coherent at the end of the day, so save it for a special area. I'm kind of thinking, like, it could be interesting maybe just on these two. So, like, do down, down, not, like, on these two rows, because these are the, like, centered ones. Like, it could be kind of cool just to do them there. I don't hate the, like, full wave effect. If I had the patience, I like the up and down and up and down and up and down. Can't tell if I love one more than the other yet, though. That's also the struggle is, like, how much effort do you want to put into it? How much time do you want to put into a build? You could go forever in this game. There's no limitation to the amount of detail you can add. It is purely how much time you want to spend on something. Just can't decide. I'm going to have to look at it for a little while. I mean, worst comes to it, I just do it off stream when I'm bored, but instead of making a video. Okay, can I press the right button? Free the NPCs? Never. Never. So, I mean, we will. Once the armory is finished, I believe the next thing I'm going to work on is the NPC areas, which is going to be all this space. It's possible. I can't decide. With the resource world, I just don't use them. Oh, hey, what's in here? With the resource world, I'm not really using them that much right now because, like, I'm not making any armor. I'm not making decor. But then every once in a while, I just want to make one random thing, and I'm like, this is such a pain not having any of it set up. But realistically, this base is done when I finish the armory, both sides of these, and the upstairs. This portion of the base. We have a lot to do on the upstairs area, but it's possible. I don't know. I just want to get to the castle build and the rest of the city sooner than later too, so it's hard to say. But realistically, we're just doing it for content, so we'll get to everything eventually. Maybe one big window pane in the middle type thing, leave the rest. That could work too. I'm using you to test my ideas. I'm all right with that. I'm a good guinea pig. Now that I'm doing this ceiling, it kind of makes me want to change this ceiling. I don't know if I love this ceiling as much anymore. I don't hate that it's a different style though, so I don't know. Timber got slaves. I mean, technically they're not doing any work. So, are they slaves? They're more just prisoners, really. Which could be argued to be as bad or worse, depending on who you are. They also have no food. They're too stupid to figure out how to walk over and get to the corner beds, so most of them just sleep on the hard floor. So, I mean, it's probably not the best living conditions. Infinity pool. Yeah, it just depends on who you are. What you like and don't. God, I can't decide. If I were to plan this out a little more, and it was a little deeper, and I could make it maybe more pronounced, I'd probably be all for it. My only issue is that it's, like, not super pronounced at the moment. It's hard to say. This build has an Alhambra vibe, and I like it. I don't even know what the vibe is. I've just been... It's so random right now. It's one of my, like, less cohesive builds in terms of, like, each room is pretty cohesive, but I'm just kind of, like, taking a different vibe between each space and seeing what happens. Like, this is a very bougie storage, like, bank vault sort of room, and this is a very, like, mine shaft kind of mining operation, but like a bougie, very nicely made one, not like a crappy one. So I have no clue. The vibes are just like, I'm testing ideas out, and I'm enjoying each space being sort of unique, but in a similar way, I guess. I don't know how quite to describe it. I think my goal is to see how many different ways I can use some of the same blocks to make interesting things, actually. Wait, no, it has to be like that, yeah. How many ways can I, like, do the same thing, essentially? I'm also thinking of potentially leaving these corners empty. So these just will look exactly like this. So maybe the square pieces are sort of slightly different. I don't love that, though. That kind of sucks. Didn't think that part well through. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. Looks like it took a long time to build, so different head architects left their imprints. Gives it a story. Yeah, that works. That's a good way to line it out. You know what would be cool is a Colosseum, because I know we talked about on Grounded. It could have really worked well. Would be perfect for this game. Yeah. I wish I could have gotten to the point where I built out that, like, Game of Thrones Dragon Colosseum thing I was planning on doing. The only issue is you can't bring, like, bugs or anything. Like, things to fight in the Colosseum. But I guess you could use armor dummies, and you could pose them and stuff. So there's a lot of ways you could get away with it. I guess I could also leave this as a single little thing, too. That wouldn't suck. Could be interesting. Oh, no. Some funkiness. We don't have any extra room that way, do we? Yeah, no. We could, but I don't know if it's worth it. I'll have to think through these side pieces. I don't quite know yet. Some of the struggles of planning and builds. It is quite difficult at times to just have a great idea and it works perfect every time. I guess that's one thing that Grounded really taught me, is like the imperfection in builds is part of what, like, makes them really interesting. Dang it. Being like, I used to just be an absolutely ridiculous perfectionist in everything I tried to do, and I learned that is like the most horrific way to try to do things. Perfect is the lowest standard you can have. Cheesy as heck, but it is true. Nothing in life is even remotely close to perfect, so So if things don't quite work out the way I planned, you know, they just don't quite work out the way I planned. And that doesn't mean they're bad. Just means they're unique. I think the Colosseum could work on this game. Can you make curved anything? You can make... Not curved, no, but you can do this now. You could, to a certain degree, yes, I guess. Like, if you wanted to, you could go around and do these the most painstakingly way possible. Like this. And get them perfectly lined up and click to and click to and click to and click to and just endlessly do this if you wanted, and you would get that. That's a curved structure to me. Like, that's pretty dang curved for a game. So yes, you could, but you might lose your freaking mind doing it. Very tedious. I wish I would remember the doors being open. It would be cool to have open doors hanging from the ceiling, letting the light through. That could be interesting. They said they were adding movable traps, so I'm really hoping they have, like, there's a trap in one of the random castles where, like, you step on it and you fall down, where you could really do something interesting like that. Now you got to do it? I almost lost my mind placing those 4 blocks, dude. Closest you're going to see me to doing it is I might make this more of a circle when I make the actual design. On the scale of a Colosseum, I can't even imagine. The other issue is with that, there's not really, like, wall blocks. That would be the difficult part, is there's not walls. There's just not, yeah. The hard part is there's just no walls. All the walls have to be straight. So it doesn't, it'd be very difficult. You'd have to, I don't know how you'd have to really figure out a good game plan of, like, how to use each block in, like, the most successful way possible. Because, like, yes, those windows work, but, like, I don't know what... There's not big pieces in the game at the moment that can just be used as, like, a wall or something. There are, I guess. I don't know. It would take a lot of thought to make it useful. Could be interesting. I definitely need to be... I need to start thinking in terms of these angled pieces a little bit more. A little less blocky. There's just some really interesting new details you can do with those, so I gotta start experimenting just a little bit more. Which I think a lot of that interesting stuff is gonna come out in the castle build and all the other things, but we will see. You never know. I think the person on Chisel Chip's still Discord building the giant greenhouse. The windows are all curved like that for the roof. Interesting. I'm gonna have to check. I actually just joined Chisel Chip's Discord today, so I will definitely be looking on there more regularly now that I've kind of found the lay of the land and know where things are and where people talk. Because I tend to just sit on the Enshrouded Discord looking for random people to post cool ideas and stuff, but it's not like all the best builders are consistently talking there, so the more I branch out and find other builders, the better off we'll be. What's happening here? Oh, it's just the edge piece. I was like, what am I missing here? I think I'm going crazy. I like the communities starting to cross over. Pratfall is another good community. Yes, I'm not part of his their Discord, but I do watch a lot of their random streams and stuff. That was like, I had so much fun. That was like part of the Grounded thing that I really, really enjoyed about Grounded, is there was like so many good communities out there that were all sort of starting to like meld together into just people who liked Grounded. And so it was like, it was really fun. And then the game sort of died and everyone quit. And then the communities just disappeared off the face of the earth. And a handful of them here and there like come back and forth. Like Luderav is an awesome builder in many communities at this point, and he brought in a guy, Potato Clur, who's like raided me a handful of times after his streams. Cool builder, cool guy. And so it's like it's a lot of fun when communities get to like overlap a little bit. Like the nice thing is it's like when Chisel Chip isn't posting a video, I'm posting a video. When I'm not, Chisel Chip is. When I'm not streaming, like I don't stream during the day, he does. So it's like having these communities start overlapping is great for all the communities. Just makes everyone's channel better. Rude. I would run out right then. Did it die for any specific reason? The game just unfortunately was done being updated. It hit its massive game. They did incredibly well, but it's a story-based survival game. In similar ways to this game, but the building scene was more niche. There was people that just like absolutely loved it and people who never understood it at all. And so when the survival aspect of the game stopped being updated, people flocked, just flew away. There's a huge part of the community just wanted more bosses and wanted more story content. And when they were like, yeah, it's done. Like, we've been updating this game for 4 years. Microsoft is no longer supporting us to keep going because it was Microsoft Obsidian game that Microsoft owns. When Microsoft cut it off, that was pretty much done. And so they added some great stuff, and then the viewership just kind of died because there was nothing new happening unless, like, me specifically, I was, like, just building like a psychopath. And so few other people were doing it, I was able to kind of continue the game because I had a really unique way of playing the game that most people just absolutely didn't do. But everyone who was just making combat guides and all of that, they made every guide known to mankind. And all of the creators all made those guides already. So it was like, it just hit this critical point where you just know there was just nothing else to make videos on unless you were doing really unique things. So unfortunately the content creators disappeared and the game kind of disappeared as well in many ways. I mean, there's still a lot of people playing it, but unfortunately it doesn't have any good viewership and there's not a whole lot of good videos to make on it anymore. Pratfall is early because of their time zone, then Chisel, then you, so I get a healthy amount. Yeah, I actually typically watch Chisel and Pratfall or like while I'm at work or while I'm working on my extra monitors because I just put pricing estimates and stuff together. It's not like it's anything too crazy difficult. And then they're really all I've watched, though. I haven't seen a lot of other interesting content creators yet on the game. I just hope that the game just keeps growing and that more people find it. I really can't. I think the game's going to be so good when it comes out on console and stuff, too. It's going to be really good for it. Like, not that it's all about views, but I'd want more viewers so there's more fun people to build with and more people to come up with crazy ideas and just continue growing a really fun game. Oops. Maybe the Grounded developers will make some crazy cool as their next project. They're making not games that I'm interested in, but so they made like Fallout 76 or whatever. It's Obsidian. So they're making Avowed, and I feel like Avowed, Pillars of Eternity stuff is their current focus, which are they're great games. They're just not games that I really play. The hope is that they come out with Grounded 2, honestly. That's why the second one needs to come. I enjoyed it, just building and getting materials from me. At least made up for not doing any story besides upgrading weapons at different roles. Yeah, need Grounded with 2 or 3 yards, different terrains. Yeah, I don't know what they would do for Grounded 2, but I want it. Honestly, in a perfect world, what I would get is a Grounded survival game. Just procedurally generated, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids stuff. Because realistically, that's what Grounded is it's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. But for teenagers and stuff. So if they found a way to make it that, oh god, it would be so cool. I think the game would be one of the best survival games out there. The building mechanics are interesting. It just didn't have the longevity in terms of like the story and stuff for people. I'm out of windows. No. So close, but so far. Alien Grounded planets. Honestly, I'd take anything. I wouldn't even be picky anymore. I would just. They could hand me the same game wrapped up with a different name, and I'd put another 3,000 hours into it. Because, yes, I officially hit 3,000 hours in Grounded. As ridiculous as that sounds. For a story-based survival game, it's ridiculous that I hit 3,000 hours in it. Its biggest issue is it just never got quite enough replayability. New Game Plus, I think, did it for some people, but not enough. New Game Plus was, I think, weirdly too niche for most people. Is that right? Can't wrap my brain around this. Have other survivors, story-wise, you have to face or invade would be cool. I really like Enshrouded because I feel like I can wander forever. I am amazed at how big this map is already. There are days where I do really wish it was procedural. Words. Procedural generated. I can't talk anymore. One more. But at the same time, like, this handcrafted world has also been incredibly cool. So it's. I just like the idea of procedural. God, I cannot say that word right now. Generated games. I'm going to simplify my mind. I like the idea of it because it just creates this endless game loop, which games like Valheim and Minecraft is like why they have this like endless playability that the games I really enjoy just end up not having, unfortunately. But at the same time, the completely unique custom story also is like part of what makes the game so lovable at the same time. So it's a tough balance. I just really like the idea of having a game that I can play forever. Because I can't do Minecraft. I've played that way too long, for way too many years, and I'll never go back. As great of a game as it was, I can never go back and play it anymore. There's no allure at this point. I can't decide if I like that or not, but we'll see. There's some aspects I really like to how this is looking, and some parts that I'm not totally in love with, but it is what it is. We'll figure it out as we go. I need to take a step back and get rid of all this flooring. Yep, not under my feet, though. It would be cool if they added a shifting sands area for random content, like a deep desert. That would be kind of cool. It'd be an interesting way to do it, just like... Not the whole thing isn't some like randomly generated world, but like certain parts of it are. They had said something about like instance-based dungeons, which could help. I would enjoy... I think I would really, really enjoy them reworking the entire... Like, I played thousands of hours of Diablo 3. I really enjoy that, like, loot and grind concept. I hope and wish that this might become a game with a better version of what it currently has in terms of that stuff. Like, the loot, just going and opening a chest over and over again is very unsatisfying. I saw someone complaining about it earlier, and I'm like, I'm playing it for building, so honestly, at the end of the day, I couldn't care less. At the end of the day, like, it doesn't really matter to me, but I think it would really help the longevity of the game to allow for something like that, where instead of opening legendary chests and endlessly reloading them, trying to get the best weapon, which is like the same thing, like you're just trying to roll for the right one, it would be a much more interesting... It would create, especially with like the way they already have a pretty interesting skill tree. They have a lot of the aspects that would already lend itself to that. And then if you give people the ability to like roll weapons through dungeons, you would create this like super long-term playability of this game. And you could add a lot of different dungeons. The map's big enough that you could just add tons of different interesting, unique dungeons that like drop different types of weapons, and it would create a really interesting, like, taking that Rogue, Barbarian, and Druid, like Season 2, I had an insane build. Yeah, those would be really fun. It would allow for some more like customization as well, where it's like right now it's just roll chests until you get the item, and there's not really like, it's not like you're all going for the same item with the same stats. Like, it's not like one can roll better than exponentially better than others. It's like they all end up being essentially the same. So it would create some like uniqueness and some interesting different aspects to it. I think it would really appease those like long-term players that just get stronger and stronger, and then you could keep going into more difficult dungeons that level with you, and creates like, so then you have this insane building, and then you can go like loot these dungeons over and over and over again to just like endlessly make yourself better. It could be really interesting. I don't know. Loot is not great power-wise, yeah. Adding specific rares to all the enemy types would help, yeah. Something in that sense. It could be really cool, though, to take that instant-based dungeon to the next level in this game and like make it a core part of. Not everyone loves that loot and grind concept, but I do think there's intrinsically like something addicting to it. And it would give you that sense of like accomplishment that I don't think the loot system currently is doing well enough. Like, and I've seen it from a handful of people. Like, currently the loot system does not feel valuable. I mean, that's why I'm like, and like armors, like you could do it with armor as well. Like creating the ability to enchant and upgrade armors and like getting different loot that allows you to do that and add specific effects and stuff to your. Because of the skill tree, it just makes me automatically want to play the game in that way. I don't know. Like, it makes me, I look at this skill tree and I'm just like, I want to go down this extremely hybridized, like, style build where then I can make myself the ultimate, like, lifesteal battle mage or whatever it is. Like, that just sounds super fun. So, we'll see. Who knows? Remember, just start a game studio and build /dungeon loot game. It only costs $3 million. I'll buy it. I mean, deal. I've always wanted to. I have no interest in running a game studio, but I love the idea of being part of a game company that like essentially builds the ultimate building game. Enshrouded is incredibly close, though. Is the crazy thing. So I'm just hoping that this turns into that game that I've always wanted, where it has the endless replayability. It has the endless building options, like all of that just comes in. Components that build stronger versions of items too. Yeah, I'm excited for the gem upgrades on the roadmap. Yeah, I was curious. I didn't necessarily know exactly what they were thinking for that, so it's like hard to say. I'm hoping that is like a something along those lines. You take a specific gem and you can add different perks or abilities to it to make it into something to continue to just like make your build like into this specific thing that just is exactly how you want to play the game more and more. They have all the base pieces, so I'd have to think in a year that they figure out some of those like finer details. The place is bright, bro. I don't know if I can leave those open. We might have to find a way. Nah, we have a lot of random things to place, but this might be too bright. We'll see. Creates an interesting haze effect, though. It's not so dark and gloomy in here, which is kind of nice. It doesn't feel like you're necessarily underground, which I do kind of like. Alrighty, well, since I'm out of Windows, we used every single one, I have to go reload my entire loot world anyway, or resource world, so I can't keep building. I gotta get out of the world, out of the game. So, I'm gonna call it here. I appreciate everyone hanging out for the night. You guys are awesome for all the ideas. Thanks for chatting and making it fun every night. We will be back Friday, right around 8 p.m. per usual, and we'll probably be finishing up the ceiling. I might get a couple more things laid out here and there later, sometime tomorrow or something as well, just to kind of figure out how I want to deal with a couple of these situations. I actually might just end up not using the lights in these corner pieces and sort of mess with them. It's like maybe standard blocks. I don't know. We'll have some fun with it. But this is turning out pretty epic so far, so I'm definitely happy with where we're headed. It's looking really interesting and unique, so it's been fun. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Hopefully I see y'all Friday. If not, then sometime next week as well. If you can't make it, but otherwise, everyone, hope you have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you next time. Peace.